now. Good evening, guys. We've made it. All right, we have to start the show. All right, we're going to do no music today. Music was... I'm just going to close Spotify. No music. It's really weird for me to stream without music, but we'll do it. Testing. Okay. How do you guys dry your ears? Okay, hold on. Well, maybe this is before... Nah, whatever.
Oh, that's what was happening. Okay.
How do you guys dry your ears after the shower? Do you guys have like special...
Yeah, the towel.
I don't want to use my like normal towel for that.
I just shake my head like a dog.
There you go.
Okay. Whose voice is raspy?
Probably me. It's my raw sexual magnetism.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Raspy.
All right, let's begin the program. Program. Good evening, folks, and welcome to episode 79 of the 91st Minute here live on Twitch, also streaming on YouTube. You can find us on Twitter. Our link tree's in the chat, in the bottom, in the description, Discord, everywhere. OnlyFans coming soon. Feet Finder. Anyone here have a foot fetish on the panel? Speaking of the panel, speaking of foot fetishes, we have Milo the First. Milo, how you doing?
First dig, guys. Just get a notepad and write it down. There's the first dig right there. First shot fired.
Already
tonight will be classic cartwheel. Will be in full troll mode. I almost guarantee it.
Well, you haven't denied it yet.
I don't have a foot fetish. No. If you're asking how I am, I'm very, very well. In fact, I'm even better now.
Good. Also joining us as always, we have Mr. Hoffspur. Hoff, how you doing, man?
Can't complain. Day off of work today. Had all day to do nothing and did nothing all day, so it was great.
Beautiful. And Cultured, all the way from the pole.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Good to be back. Missed last week, but good to be here. So
yeah, what
happy
happened
Labor
last
Day.
Week? Some fires.
To Americans. I had a supplier fire in Thailand, yeah. So had to sort out lots of safety work for things like that. Not fun. So,
oh my god.
It is what it is, though. It is what it is.
That sounds a little crazy. Chat, how we doing? Welcome in, chat. How's everyone doing? Oh, Danny's calling in from YouTube. Birdo's calling in from YouTube as well.
Nice.
Thank you guys for joining from YouTube, guys. YouTube is like way cooler than Twitch, so all you Twitch people get with the program. No, but what a weekend. Not much going on. I'm getting some feedback from somewhere. I don't know where it's from.
It's Hoff. Yeah, it's coming from Hoff. I'm not sure.
Is it Hoff? Are your speakers turned down?
I don't have speakers.
Check your mic input. Maybe it's picking your voice up from somewhere different.
Maybe.
It's just my mic. That's weird.
Oh yeah, Greg's here in the echoes as well. Thank you, Greg. Any technical help, chat, is always appreciated.
Yeah, this is good. We get all this out of the way so that when we cut it into segments, it's perfect.
Exactly, guys.
Yeah,
this
Is it still there?
Testing. No, I don't hear it.
It sounds okay.
It's okay.
Yeah,
When it pops up,
okay.
we'll try to mention it. But
okay.
It's okay. We're not NBC here, guys. You know, we don't have a pre-production crew. You know, we're not. Anyways, we'll get into a lot of stuff went on this weekend. Milo, I feel like you're just in a defensive stance, or like you're just ready to counter or something. You know what's up? Are you're?
I'm great.
You think I'm really gonna troll like that, huh? You think I'm just gonna troll?
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, track history and all that.
Yeah, when you take into account, much like when a referee looks at Granit Xhaka and judges him what he might be about to do based on his previous form, there could be some of that at play.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
All right. Hey, fair enough.
I
fair
guess
enough.
we'll see. I guess we'll see.
It's a
We will see.
Pavlovian reaction I'm seeing then. Maybe.
Listen, I feel great, man. I'm very happy. I have to try and contain some of the happiness.
No, you
Let
get,
it all out.
Yeah,
If you've
let
got
it out.
happiness, let it out.
Yeah, it's fine.
It'll come. It'll come.
I'm happy for you.
We'll get to that segment.
Um, but yeah, guys, how was your week? A good week?
Oh,
Weekend?
No.
Everything? No?
Very
I had
good.
Friday off. That was good. So
That was good. Chat, we're gonna talk about the transfer deadline. We're gonna talk a little bit of Champions League draw, Europa League draw, maybe even.
Greg,
Obviously some
that's
games
definitely
this
not
weekend.
happening. My goodness.
What the? Jesus.
it's gone off. It's gone.
That is why we don't
that's-
have the chat on segments, and that's the special.
Yeah.
That's what we have for the you only get the live show, you only get the live show. Anyhow,
Hey, listen, there's a reason it's broadcast late in the evenings. Well, not late,
Yeah.
but in the evening. After the watershed, as they say.
exactly.
Do you call it that in America?
No,
The watershed? No.
no. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Like late
I've
night
never heard that before.
TV with swearing and all that. That's what they used to say, culture, right? It would be like after the
I
watershed,
imagine
whatever
in
that
America,
means.
like after the cuss line.
After the what?
The cuss line, because you always say cussing. Everyone's cussing in America. It's not swearing, it's cussing. I
Yeah.
never understood that. It's swearing.
You should do a whole show with that accent.
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Right.
Cussing. Okay. Everyone's cuss. All right, here we go. Let's get into it. Let's get into the first segment. The biggest game of the weekend. Here we go.
Jeez.
Tottenham Hotspurs, Son Heung-min. Hold on. I'm hearing the echo again. Sorry.
It definitely came from Hoff. It definitely came from Hoff. Because Hoff's thing went green as the echo happened. It's really weird.
Oh,
It's really strange.
Was that you testing? Fucking hell.
oh man.
Do me a favor, Cart, for editing purposes. Once we figure this out, do another transition.
Okay.
Just because last time when we had the screen freeze, it was about 2 minutes into a segment, and I had a right game trying to get rid of it, and I wasn't happy with it. There you go.
Give me another yell.
okay.
Crack whores.
Right.
Crack. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Tottenham Hotspur's Son Heung-min scored a hat-trick, his first goals of the season, as his side demolished Burnley 5-2 after the visitors had gone behind at Turf Moor on Saturday. Burnley are still without a point under Vincent Kompany. Ange Postecoglou, fever is mounting. Robbie Williams apparently is singing songs about it. Hoff, what's your reaction to all this? What's the word? Ange ball.
Yeah, Ange Ball, Ange Mania. I'm loving it so far. I guess just a little preface to the Burnley match was the League Cup match, which I think he could have done better as managerially. There were 9 changes from the previous match, and he said, I mean, if I can't see them play, how am I going to know what they can give us in a game out beyond the training pitch? So I guess I can give him a pass to see what guys will do in a match situation. Yeah, so that was went out on penalties to Fulham in the cup. Fast forward to Saturday away to Burnley. It was completely different. I got the lineup notification on my phone an hour before the match, as addicts do on the weekends. And I saw Son was starting up top. So again, to continue the addiction, got onto my betting app, put $5 down for Son to score at least 2 goals. Got a hat trick. Son loves playing Burnley. That's the only reason, and I did it. And I feel like him playing at this striker position, that's what he does. He's the best finisher in the squad. I would say he's probably just the slightest tick below Kane. Kane can finish almost anything. But Son is, I would say, just below Kane as far as pure finishing goes. So I was happy to see him start at the central striker position. I'm also glad that we played Burnley early in the season before Company realizes that he doesn't have the players to play how he wants. Because that hasn't happened yet. So if you play Burnley in the next probably month, I would say, before they start being more pragmatic and defensive, it's good for you and your club. Yeah, I thought Son was fantastic. 3 good. His first finish was my favorite of the bunch. Just a little chip over the keeper that was rushing toward him. Manor Solomon got his first start as well. I thought he started off a little shaky, but I liked the chemistry between Solomon and Son. And Solomon had 2 assists on Son goals. I thought he played very well. James Maddison, a permanent fixture in my shout outs from Spurs games so far. He was great, had a very nice goal. Excuse me. Romero, we did our predictions earlier in the season, or just before the season, about overrated players, underrated players like that. I said Romero was probably going to be overrated. So far, I was wrong. I said that because he was just overly aggressive, ridiculously aggressive. He still is that a little bit, but I feel like becoming the vice captain, being given a leadership role, I think that kind of reined him in a little bit. Like, he's not just out there snapping tackles, I guess, and like taking guys down. He's a leader out there, and I don't know if that's validating his feelings he wanted to be a leader, but I feel like he's kind of reined in that recklessness to his game a little bit. And something that surprised me just scrolling through the post-match Twitter reactions, Romero and Van de Ven have 0 fouls between them so far this year, which is, I didn't believe it. But yeah, that's something that definitely opened my eyes as far as Romero. I think he's been very good. He's got 2 goals. Van de Ven has 2 goals as well, but unfortunately they're own goals. But yeah, just the Ange ball. I really like what he's done with the wing backs. Pedro Porro, I still have some defensive concerns, not as much as I had before seeing him in the system. He had a great assist on Son's 3rd goal as well. That if you haven't seen that pass, look up that goal. It was just a beautiful ball around the defense to Son on the back post. And Destiny, I am on his hype train. I feel like he's one of the best left backs in the league. I don't feel weird about saying that. I think he's I think he improves any team in the league if he plays for them. He makes Man City a better team. I think he would if they would integrate him into their system, not saying if he played the same way that he's playing, I think he has the skill set to play in any system. Because he didn't play like he's playing now at Udinese. He's completely he's just so versatile and such a good player, and I'm glad that he pulled out of the Italy squad because I didn't want to risk injury for him. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's been really good. He does everything well as a left back. Udogi. His movement's good. He gets forward when he needs to get forward. Sound defensively. Vicario had a couple big saves as well, which is good to see because I think was it last week he looked a little shaky. I don't know. Vicario is someone who seems like the goalkeeper position is something that is, I don't know. I feel like I don't have full confidence in him yet. How do you feel about your goalkeeper?
I think as far as a system fit, I think he's better than Lloris if you're just doing apples to apples in this system. Goalkeeper, shot stopping wise, he has some great reflex saves. I think he's really, really good at reflex saves. There are those kind of shaky, scary moments. But I think given how we've played overall, they aren't as critical as they would have been in previous seasons. Like if Lloris made a mistake and an opponent goal resulted out of it, that could have been the match. And now it's just the difference between 5-1 and 5-2. So, or in this match, not saying that he had a mistake, but there's more margin for error, I think, which is a good thing for goalkeepers. But I don't think, the shakiness is still there, but the overall system helps him out. I'll be interested to see what happens in like a 1-0, a 2-1 game, how he plays. If we're not controlling the game or if there's a counter or something, see how he handles that situation.
Yeah. So it's all sunshine and rainbows down the road then, it sounds like to me.
It is so far.
No, which is, I get it. Like there's nothing I can really say other than they have played well under Angie. I still maintain what I said last week, guys, which is, we'll see how you handle your first bump under Angie, but at the moment, you're not the first Tottenham fan I've spoken to this week that's pretty happy. I do think your fixture list has been fairly kind, continues to be as well. If you look at it, you have some games peppered in. I think Arsenal and then Liverpool back to back is going to be the biggest week of your season so far. But I mean, aside, obviously Brentford, Bournemouth, Burnley, Sheffield United, all in your first 5 games. The Tottenham Man United game was probably on paper your hardest fixture. Obviously at home, the feel good factor, and you got the 2-0 win there as well. So it's. I like I say, I think Angie. A lot of people are bigging up Angie, and we'll see. I just, for me, I'm just seeing again, it's all about that stigma that he's got to try and remove. So we'll see. But it's certainly off to a flying start.
Yeah, it's also it's nice to not. I mean, you want the expectations to win a title, win a cup, make a run in the Champions League. Like as a club, you want those big expectations. But I think this year not having those, I don't know if you polled 100 Spurs fans, what it would come out as. But for me, you give me a top 5 or Champions League top 4, whatever it ends up being, it'll probably be top 5, and a decent cup run. Like that's a good season, especially given all the change that has happened in the past few months.
FA Cup run, to be specific.
Right. Well, that's the only one that's left now.
Do you think, Hoff, this is an interesting question for you. Do you think that removing Kane from the equation, because let's face it, obviously we know Kane's finishing ability. Everything went through him. You relied on him for all your goals, pretty much. For the last couple of years at least, and more, but specifically in the last couple of years, if it hadn't have been for Kane, who knows where you would have ended up in the table, because he's been consistently at the top of the goal scoring charts and all the rest of it. So do you think Kane moving, not just his uncertain future being settled once and for all, do you think that's made you a better team? Because I think obviously it's difficult to say because you've got the Angie effect, you've got that honeymoon period as well. I think it's the guys are playing more of a team. It's not just get the ball to Harry.
Yeah, there's I don't know if you listen or read Bill Simmons at all. He's a American sports writer, podcaster guy. He proposed the Patrick Ewing theory. I don't know if you've heard what that is or know what that is. Basically, it's when the star player leaves, the team that he is left, or the star player, the team that he's on, which Kane and Spurs in this instance, not chronically, what's the word? Perennially underperform while he's there, and then he leaves and the team starts overperforming, playing better once that like generational player is gone. So yeah, I think I was wondering about this Saturday actually. I wonder how it felt if I was and maybe the system that Conte Mourinho implemented, not that it's the same system, the systems that they implemented. How would you feel as a midfielder, as a defender, when you have the forward coming back on top of you in the build-up, on like defending set pieces? Okay, fair enough. You want your bigger players back there. But if I'm like Højbjerg or Bentancur and I have Harry Kane playing beside me, like, hey, who am I going to pass to? No one is up in front of me in the middle of the field, occupying the center backs. And like, dude, let me do my job. Like, I feel like it's kind of cramping the other players when he would do that. And sometimes he would play like amazing passes and stuff, but I feel like was trying to do too much, and it kind of hampered everyone else. It turned out great for him. I mean, he scored bags of goals and got assists and all kinds of stuff. But I think now everyone has a defined role and they aren't interfering with each other's tasks as much. So as overall, I feel like the team is better, while maybe the quality ceiling may not be as high as it would with a Harry Kane up top.
Fair enough, yeah. Cultured, what do you have? You got anything you want to contribute to Tottenham?
Yeah, I think the defensive partnership is something I'm quite keen to look at between Van de Ven and Romero, because it reminds me of a bit of not as good, but reminds me of Vidic and Rio. Where you've got one who's just a nutter that goes and wins the ball.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
It reminds me of Rio and Vidic, where you've got one nutter whose job is literally all he wants to do is win the ball, and then you've got one who's a bit more classy, passer, tries to keep the composure in the back too, which I think is pretty good. But I think you raised a good point around Burnley. I think Vincent Kompany should know. He's played in the Premier League. He should know that they shouldn't have the players. My bell's gone. Apologies.
Well, I have something to add. You guys, the Turkish transfer window hasn't closed, so you guys have offloaded Davinson Sanchez and Ndombele. Is it both to Davinson Sanchez to Galatasaray? Both to Galatasaray?
They were both, yeah. And Ndombele was a loan because that contract is not. I guess it's not easily movable because he's been on loan pretty much since we've got him.
Right.
But yeah, he I don't think I've heard a lot of good reports about Ashley Phillips, the center back that was brought in from Blackburn, and he traveled with the team on Saturday. It seems like Ange likes him a lot, and he might just go right into the senior team and be that backup center back that travels. So hopefully he is the guy. We'll see.
Ashley. Usually a lady's name. Usually. Just saying.
Nah, plenty of ashes.
Okay, sorry.
I'm back.
Yves Basuma, only player in the top 5 leagues. Only player in the top 5 leagues with 10 interceptions, 10 tackles, and 10 take-ons completed. He's a reborn player. He's a really nice player. I love this type of player. This is my favorite type of player. Like when we talk about GOAT discussion, it's like these are the players I like. The players that run the show type of thing. These orchestrators, you know. Love it.
It's what Tottenham need. They used to have it with Dembele, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he's the more modern version of Musa Dembele. Yeah, that's Musa a good Dembele, shout.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add about Tottenham, guys? Milo?
Never.
No. Oh.
I do think that it's okay. It's all right. Yeah. I think
never was the bang.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I
made it so final.
I think the North London derby is setting up nicely so far. So that'll be interesting.
When is that?
Yeah, I think Arsenal are going to spank you.
September 24th at the Emirates. I will tell you this. I am relieved that the first game between us is at our place and not yours.
Yeah.
Given the sunshine and rainbows over that side of North London right now, I think, you know, yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens in between now and then, obviously, with injuries and players away, and hopefully everyone comes back fit and healthy, and we get to see a good spectacle.
If everyone's fit, I think Arsenal absolutely wallop them at the Emirates. I think that's the first real test Ange has, and I think his overly attacking system will just be pounced on by Martinelli, Jesus, and Saka.
Yeah.
If everyone's fit, if everyone has their fit players after international, I think Arsenal smash them like 3-0.
I'm quietly pessimistic as always about the big fixtures. So we'll see.
I'm a neutral, right? I can be with my predictions. Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Arsenal losing that game. You know, everyone thought they'd smash United. They didn't.
No, you thought they would.
No, everyone thought they would.
You're the only person that said that out loud that I know.
The score line looks like a smash, but it wasn't a smash. We all know that.
We'll get on to that.
We should talk about that game at some point. Huh?
Yeah, we probably will.
It'll be a good game, though. I'm excited. I might be rooting for Spurs in that one. I'm a fan of Ange, man.
You're such a hater, dude.
I'm a fan.
You and NLBMF besties. Why are you such an Arsenal hater, dude?
I'm not an Arsenal hater. I'm a
fair,
fan. I'm
really
a
are, bro.
I generally root for anyone that's playing against Arsenal. Yeah. So.
Did we
just because it's the old rivalry, right?
You lot need to worry more about your neighbours. That's who you need to be stopping.
Oh no, they're well above us, so don't worry about that.
You guys should have been thinking about our neighbors when you drew Fulham. That's what you should have been doing. You know.
I don't even know what that comment is.
You guys are in a title race. You can't draw Fulham in the first 3 games. You know.
We talked about the Fulham game last week, Cart.
I know. I'm just you keep bringing up your title rivals as though we need to be worried about them, but maybe you need to be worried about them. You know. Since they're your title rivals.
God, I'm almost tempted just to leave now before we get into this. I really am not in the mood. So,
Milo, I'm here. I'll try and keep it.
The trolly behaviour needs to stop. I'm telling you, or I will just hit that red disconnect button and
You're
leave that for
bringing up Man City here.
Well, I'm just saying.
I'm not bringing up Man City.
You're so worried about what we're doing. You should be worried about what your neighbours are doing. They're making you look silly year after year.
Everyone's making us look silly.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not just Man City.
Yeah. Let's get into it then, huh? Off?
All right.
Yeah? All right.
Yep. Just give me a point. The 91st minute derby took place at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday. Arsenal bested Manchester United 3-1 in a match with a Danish debut, late rice frying, and incorrect VAR angles. To the victors go the spoils. So, Milo, how are you feeling about that match?
I feel much better about the start of the game Something I wanted to see. I've talked about it every week of the season so far. I felt like we hadn't started games well. At home was a concern, especially after conceding early goals. So I was happy to not see that. And I thought we came out the blocks looking really good. I was very, you'd expect the home team to have more of the ball. We did for the most part. I was getting a bit frustrated with the lack of finish in that first half. And even the lack of, sort of final play to get it in a good spot. And then, of course, Rashford opening the scoring, who, by the way, I thought was United's best player by some margin for me. I thought Rashford was really, really good. Looked dangerous on the ball every time and, got a classic counter attack. I think it was the first shot on goal, on target, at least. May even have been the first shot on goal. But, at that point, in my head, I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. It's going to be one of those classic smash and grab games. Because, I felt like United, especially early on, I felt like they definitely were setting up to try to, it was somewhat conservative, I thought, from them. And obviously the counter-attack was the plan. At least that's what it looked like to me. And obviously we'll hear from the United boys shortly. But yeah, I was very, very happy that we responded straight away. And whether that's, United switched off a little bit right after scoring, which can happen. We've seen it in football a million times. Odegaard banging it home. I was extremely happy with that. After that, the game was always on a knife edge, I thought. And I think the tie has a little bit more spice back in it now than it did have for a few years, which is good. That's good for us as fans, and it's good for neutrals as well, because it definitely, it will definitely make, the return fixture at Old Trafford should be a spicy one after what we saw yesterday. Havertz missed an absolute sitter, by the way, 7 yards out, mishit the ball. I mean, just don't be in the box. He did some other stuff in the game very well, but just get out the box, get out the way. Eddie was there waiting for that. Just get out the way, mate. Like, you're doing some other things brilliantly, but the offensive side of your game, for me, it's not good enough, and it's something that needs to improve. Speaking, obviously we've talked about Havertz coming into the team, what it does to the formation. I was extremely happy to see us play with, a more regular defense, Gabriel coming back in. And I thought that's one of the reasons why off the start we looked comfortable, because it was, it was much more familiar. Zinchenko was there, White on the right, it just felt more familiar. And then, as I say, moving back to the Havertz miss, after that, Saka got played through and shot straight at Onana. That was another massive chance. So at that point, it was still 1-1, and I'm like, we've missed two massive chances. And we've talked about this on the show so many times, that those fine margins, those chances in these games, if you don't take them, they are the most costly, right? It's so costly because it is just such a fine margin, and it could easily have ended 1-1. It could easily have ended 2-1 United, the way it went on. I think, obviously Declan Rice, who for me was my man of the match, I thought he was outstanding again. He's been really, really good so far this season. I thought he was absolutely outstanding, good in the tackle, good at interceptions, reading the plays in the midfield. I thought he was brilliant. And he deserved a goal to round off a really good display. And I mean, I know there's some controversy. For me, obviously you guys, you'll get to say your piece, and we'll go through it. For me, it was kind of 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Gabriel ended up on the floor. I do want to ask you two, and I will end my spiel with a question for you two, which you can either answer straight away or later, whatever you prefer, because I am curious as to what was going on with United there. So Declan puts it away 2-1, and then obviously, that took the wind out the sails, and then the counter-attack. Lovely finish by Jesus. I don't want that to go with everything else that happened. There's the Garnacho offside goal as well, which to me, I don't know what he's talking about, the angles. I mean, we've talked about VAR. we've talked about it all the time. It looks offside from what we're being shown by VAR. So there you go. But the Jesus goal, I just thought was a lovely finish from him. Really, really nice skill, and I love to see it. And he needs that for us in other games. He needs that. He needs that confidence boost coming back from injury. Always question marks over the goals he scores. And you know, I understand how these two feel a bit, because last year I sat here around the same time of the year and we just lost 3-1 at Old Trafford. Martinelli had a goal ruled out that ended up, you know, the refs came out and said shouldn't have been a blah, blah, blah. So I understand how they feel a little bit. My question to you guys, and obviously feel free to talk about everything else you want, but why did Ten Hag bring on Maguire and Evans? Like, I know Martinez and Lindelof were both on yellows. So is that the reason, or was it an injury? Because I just was like, why did they come on?
Injured.
So they both picked up an injury. Okay.
Yeah.
So Martinez hurt himself when he fouled Nketiah, I think it was. He overstretched his hamstring and was like, I can't sprint, so I've got to come off. And then Lindelof picked up a knee knock and had to come off.
Okay, because they were both booked as well, so I wondered if it was. I wasn't sure. I didn't pick up on the injury side of things. I wasn't.
It was confirmed after that it was 2 injuries. Yeah.
Okay, because obviously I know for United fans it's a bit of a meme defense to end the game with. So I was just surprised. You know, Ten Hag brought them on, and I just like, why did he do that? So yeah, okay, injuries, fair enough. Yeah, that's it from me, guys. I mean, I'm. There's nothing more for me to say. We got 3 points. I'm stoked, and we have an international break where I can relax a little bit.
Yeah. Cart, you go. Go on, Cart.
No, go ahead. Go, please, Culture. Go ahead,
okay. I thought it was I can be calm in these situations. I think I'm old enough. I've seen enough football. I can look at things objectively, and it's like I thought it was a very good tactical battle. I think the way both managers set up, I think Ten Hag knew we weren't in a position to actually go toe-to-toe with Arsenal. I think he knew that Arsenal had a more complete team. I don't know if you can argue better players all around the park, but definitely had a more complete system and team and how they wanted to play. And it was interesting because the one time, I agree with you, Milo, I think Declan Rice was probably the best player on the pitch. For the entirety of the 90 minutes or 101 or whatever it ended up being played.
112, wasn't it, I think?
112,
I don't know. It would seem like a lot.
Yeah. I feel like he was. And the one time Arsenal conceded was actually when Declan Rice pressed too high up the pitch out of position. That is a very good video by Tifo, who you guys know in the Discord I'm a big fan of, around what we learned from Arsenal v Man United. And it was an interesting watch. After the game, I didn't watch the game and then watch that video from Tifo straight away. I slept on it, woke up, watched it this morning, had a bit of a chill. But it was interesting that the shape Arsenal had for pressing, the one time it went wrong, Man United scored, basically, is what it was. Declan Rice was caught out of position once. He went and pressed high up into the left-hand side of the box against Wan-Bissaka, completely out of position, and we intercepted a poor pass from Kai Havertz and launched a counter-attack, and Rashford scored a good goal. I think 1-1 would have been a fair scoreline. I don't think there was enough in it for either team to really have a convincing argument to say they won. The stats sort of prove that. The Arsenal XG was through the roof because of the 2 late chances they had. I mean, Gabriel Jesus one is something like 0.85 of an expected goal because he's one-on-one with the keeper inside or just outside the 6-yard box. But it's like... It was interesting. We were a bit too slow from a United point of view at times, but we were trying to draw Arsenal out and try and get Arsenal to press us. Casemiro dropped in as a sort of half-back in between the 2 centre-backs and wanted to pick the ball up a little bit more and try and get us progressing through that way, but Arsenal weren't being drawn out, so it just meant we kept the ball around the back. As I said, from a point of view as liking the tactics and a tactician side of football, I thought it was really entertaining. I thought it was a really good game. It had the bite to it, like you said, and it was good. I don't think United deserved a 3-1 loss. I don't get the Onana hate. I mean, a deflection from someone who's a yard in front of you. If you're going to save that, it's normally luck. If you're going to save that one at the end from Declan Rice's goal. There was an interesting thing about the corners, though, is that Man United always left Declan Rice free. We overloaded the front post to stop the flick-ons, and we always left one man free at the back post, which was Declan Rice. For every single corner, it's in the Tifo video as well. And Arsenal clocked onto that in the second half, and there's a change in how Arsenal set up their corners in the second half, where normally it was Declan Rice free at the back post with one other Arsenal player who ran in. And then in the second half, what they did is they had Declan Rice free at the back post and two Arsenal players in front of him acting as blockers. Whether it's legal or not, it doesn't matter, but that's what they did. And they adapted that and changed it. Now, I think it is a foul on Johnny Evans, because Gabriel is very clearly stopping him going to attack the ball. But I can understand why it's not given, because I think it's one of those, give those every part of the pitch. You're never going to not have a foul in the game. It's always going to be foul, 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 foul. So I can understand why it's not given. But I don't know. I don't... It's disappointing to lose. It's very disappointing to lose in the manner we did. It's incredibly disappointing to lose after you think you've won when Garnacho scores. I can't argue with that VAR angles nonsense. I don't think it's... If the lines are drawn like that, like they have been since VAR's been in existence, then it's offside. Like you can't argue with it. I can argue with VR being shit, and I think we've touched on this in the Discord. That'll probably be a conversation during another international break when we need something to talk about. But I think overall, Arsenal played well. I think United played well. I liked Højlund coming on. He offered a lot. He was aggressive. He was really fast.
He's going to be...
He was pacey.
I was going to bring him up, and I forgot in my bit, because I thought he's going to be a real handful for defenders, man. He really is, because strong, fast, like he's going to be a handful. The difference between Martial up front and him was obvious to see straight away as soon as he came on. Yeah, and I didn't touch on that incident with him and Gabriel. I mean, I think he didn't get the penalty because he grabs Gabriel's arm, and I think that's the only reason it wasn't given, honestly. Yeah, I think obviously that got checked by VAR as well, and I think the same. I think if it was given, I could understand why. But if it was given against Man United, I would have been annoyed, because it was both of them holding each other, right? I think when Gabriel's arm come across, there's your contact. If Højlund had just gone down, he wins a penalty there, I think. But his arms go around Gabriel's, and as soon as you do that, it's like, okay, I'm going to hold on to him and then go down. It gave them a reason not to give it. I agree, but my argument for that would be the block on Johnny Evans for the goal. See, I've seen just grabbing him. He's just stopping him running. I've seen two angles of that though, and Evans is all hands as well. It's a bit of 6 of one, half a dozen the other. That one personally, but I understand. That is my rose-tinted glasses. But I was thinking maybe would the argument be like obstruction, maybe? But like it's you don't see obstruction given. Like, when was the last time you saw obstruction given in a football game? Yeah, I know. It's been a while. And it really annoys me. It used to happen a lot, and you never see it now. In the corner, that should be obstruction when people stick the ball down in the corner. Anyway, let's bring Cart in. Let's bring Cart in. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, what is there to say, really? What is there to say? Arsenal.
I thought you were gonna have something ready.
Arsenal is not as good as we all thought they were. They're just not at the same level they're playing at last year. There's something missing. I don't know if maybe they'll have to develop it, right? Maybe there's something to develop, but they're definitely not building off of anything. I mean, I don't think this Havertz thing is going to really work too well. Mikel Arteta making some outrageous comments after the game, talking about conquering women. I mean, I don't know if that's the type of manager you'd want at your... What? Did you guys didn't hear that?
I didn't hear this. No.
He was talking about how he had to conquer his wife to... I mean, after all the Rubiales stuff, I don't know if you want to bring that up.
Okay, first of all, he was talking about winning her over in terms... Oh my God, I can't believe you're going there, dude. This is the most pathetic...
He said
you've ever done, mate. Honestly, this is the most pathetic attempt Cartwheel has ever done, guys. This is honestly, mate. What a cuntish thing to try and do. Honestly, that is the most cuntish thing you've ever said on this show.
I'm just saying, he's
absolute shit, mate. And I don't even know why I sit here opposite you if you're gonna do shit like that, because that's fucking disgraceful.
Hey, I didn't say it. Arteta said it. I'm just repeating what he said.
No, you're taking it out of context, and you know what you're fucking doing, mate. You know what you're doing. You fucking know.
Okay.
And it's fucking bullshit.
All right, man. Relax.
No, it isn't fucking all right. That's fucking outrageous, mate. That is. Don't do that.
All right.
Stick to the football, Cart.
Yeah,
All right,
stick to the fucking football.
I think our your wingers were pretty ineffective. I think Anthony and Rashford did well to drop back and defend well. I didn't really feel Arsenal were very threatening at all during the entire game. I thought they were kind of, I don't know. I didn't feel either United played much better than before, or you know.
I think we had a system. I think we had a system set up to deal with it, and I think we were so intent on not. I don't want to say not losing the game, but I think that's what our attitude was. We knew if we got a point out of that game or nicked a goal, like we did with Rashford, then that puts us in a good position. And I think I haven't seen Saka or Martinelli, I think, got a bit of space and he did really well in certain situations. But I don't think I've seen Saka marshalled out of a game so much than he had this season or maybe last season. But I agree with what you said about Kai Havertz. I think that's the it's like they're shoehorning Kai Havertz into a role that he can't do or it isn't working. I don't know why they're sticking with it when you could bring in. Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, you could probably play Trossard in that role and he'd play better than Havertz, I think. It's a strange one, but.
And that's another thing. Look at what Arsenal had coming off the bench as well. They had Jesus coming off the bench. They had Trossard coming off the bench. They had even Fabio Vieira, who did really well last week. They had him coming off the bench. And if you look on the other side, who do we have coming off the bench? We got 18-year-old Garnacho, Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, who's still in a job. We tried to offload him, right? All these things will be annoying them. And then we had this
on the bench. McTominay.
Oh yeah, McTominay was sick. Sorry, so I don't even know who we had in midfield cover. I don't know.
Dan Gore. We had Dan Gore. The under 21 player. Yeah,
exactly. So it's like, how do you? I mean, with taking all that into account, I think we did pretty well, and we almost won the game. Which is just insane. I don't know. Like when you think about it, if that Garnacho goal goes in, obviously this is hypothetical, and. Yeah. What are Arsenal fans saying when they lose that game? I know it's a hypothetical and you can't really get too deep into it, and it's just 3 points and it's over. But we're talking about it. It's like you can't really do. I mean, if we nick that game 2-1, what is Arsenal saying? We got to put the game away, or we need to take our chances. Those couple, that Saka chance, that Havertz chance, It's such a fine margin. That's why I'm not obviously it's at the time it's rough, right? That disallowed goal and then bang right the other way. But when you think about it, it was just a very fine margin. We could have won that game 2-1, and we're not even playing well. It's like that gives me a lot of hope for the rest of the season. It's just easy. To me, I thought we were gonna get. Arsenal were going to have the possession as they did, and they were going to create some chances, right? I think Anthony and Rashford did really well to track back. We nullified their threat on the wings, and they couldn't do anything through the middle. And we prevented a smash. We got to go on the break, and that's.
It's a tough one. I don't think either team was at their best. That's the issue. There is that I don't think us. I agree. I don't think Arsenal were playing as well as they did last year, and they have other gears to go through. But I also think we're not, and I think that added to the element of the tactical battle and the nitty gritty and the battle in midfield and things like that. I think that added to it. It's that thing of if Garnacho's goal had stood and we had won 2-1, I would expect level-headed Arsenal fans, because I can't speak for all of them, but level-headed Arsenal fans to be a bit like me. It's disappointing that we lost, but I don't think we deserve to lose. I don't know. It's hard. I don't want to. I mean, we've got an Arsenal fan here. So
I'm pretty sure exactly what I said last year when we lost 3-1 at Old Trafford.
Yeah, and it's like I'm annoyed because we've lost. I'm not annoyed because of the performance or because of how the players played, and we could have nicked the winner. And it felt like it's a move in the right direction, but one of my concerns is that Arsenal scored the equaliser with Odegaard. Was lovely, very quick, one-touch football, which is what Man United have been susceptible against at the back for ages. We just can't seem to react quick enough to quick passing moves that go through us. Once we got when we got into a defensive shape and we got there, we were. I agree with you, Kurt. I think Arsenal struggled to break us down. I think the Saka chance was the main one. Havertz swinging a left foot. I think that came from a quick passing move as well. But it's still that defensive shape when a quick pass goes through our midfield, and then it's quick passing all round, and we can't deal with it. Like Arsenal's goal for Odegaard was, I think everyone had one touch. I think it was 2 touches for Martinelli, and that was the only person that had 2 touches, or whoever did the cutback. I can't remember who it was, but towards Odegaard, it was.
Do you feel like Amrabat helps that out at all?
I think so. I think so, and I think there's a lot to be said with how long we were linked to Amrabat. I mean, it was about a week into the transfer window that the rumours were that United were going to sign Amrabat. For it to be done on deadline day just takes the piss. Like, I don't understand how that drags on. For how long's the transfer window? 2 months? 2.5 months? Like, it's ridiculous, right? To think if he's been targeted by the manager and the board are trying to get it done, or the technical director, or the whoever it is, director of football, is trying to get it done, just go and get it done. Like, even if it is a loan to buy, like we've eventually got it on. It just thinks of Fellaini, right? Even under Moyes, when it was like, we want Marouane Fellaini. Oh, okay, we're now going to go and pay like 8 more million than we have to because we're going to get him on deadline day instead. Just go and get the deal done. It's infuriating. But I think he does make a difference, yeah.
Okay.
Even McTominay, I think, would have made a difference. So, but
what you're talking about getting through our midfield is Eriksen and Casemiro, not the most mobile. You know, once you break that line, that's why we kind of have to. I think we have to sit back. We can't press. You know, we can't really press with those two. So, you know, we have to sit back and we have to play with the squad we have. Right? We can't. You know, we obviously have issues with the transfers market and our transfers in general, which we'll probably talk about a little later. But, you know, I'm very, very happy with the way, especially the way Rashford and Antony dropped back and helped Dalot and Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka shut down Martinelli. You know, Martinelli's obviously his speed was still a factor, but I don't think he got anything past Wan-Bissaka. Dalot did pretty well against Saka. When Arsenal started doing combinations, it became a little dicey. But when Rashford dropped back into that defensive shape, I thought we stopped him pretty well. You know, I don't know. I didn't feel either we got. I mean, we've gotten much better since the start of the season, or since last season. Arsenal just aren't firing on all cylinders yet.
Results like this will help, though.
That's the thing. My worry with Arsenal is that they're not firing on all cylinders and they're still winning. They've shown it against Palace. I think Fulham, they could have won that game. They've beaten us. They weren't at their best, and that's a sign of champions is always what they say, right? If you don't play well and win.
The international break comes really at the worst time after a result like that.
Yeah.
You want to continue on and play next week, but
agreed. Yeah,
it is what it is. I mean, touching on the Martinelli point, Wan-Bissaka did have a really good game against him. The only thing that Martinelli was able to do consistently was win corners against him. Many of the corners that we had, especially in the first half, were on that side. If the delivery had been better, I think it would have led to more chances for us. I was quite disappointed with some of the corner delivery and free kick deliveries.
Just on that, I do think Wan-Bissaka lacks a little bit of football intelligence. He's obviously a very, very good defender and winning the ball in tackles and things like that. But I do think he doesn't think about where he's winning or blocking across or winning that tackle. Because a lot of the time he waits and it goes right to the byline. And you can be dangerous from corners. They're not as good as people think they are. But I do think there are times... I mean, I shouldn't really correct him. He's a Premier League defender. I'm not. He knows what he's doing. But, I feel like there's times when he's so good in the slide tackle, he could do it higher up the pitch and give a throw in rather than wait until it seems to be he matches them pace for pace and then puts a tackle in at the last minute near the byline. Or I guess it's because he knows that's when they're going to cut back. But it is one of those things that it does annoy me a little bit.
Well, I think that's.
But he had a very good game. So.
I think that's a area Martinelli has to improve is his weak foot, because I think that's how they've just scouted him, right? They just know keep Martinelli as his weak foot, don't let him dribble by you, right? Don't let him get by you, and that's what Wan-Bissaka is doing, just showing him onto the left foot and not jumping in, because Martinelli has crazy. He'll outpace Wan-Bissaka. I mean, Wan-Bissaka can recover, but on pace, Martinelli's got him. Martinelli's lightning.
Yeah, that's
quick,
true.
So. Yeah, so.
I wasn't disappointed in Martinelli's contribution, as I say, because I felt like he still was creating opportunities through corners and things like that. And the one or two times that he does do the cutback, and I also think he supplied Odegaard right for the goal.
I think it was him that got the pass into Odegaard.
Martinelli on the left and cut back to the edge of the penalty area for Odegaard to rifle it home. So I was pretty happy with Martinelli's performance. I mean, if you're playing Arsenal, I expect teams, like I expect Saka to get nullified some games, because he is so often the focal point of the attack. And you know what you're going to do. You won't stop him throughout the entire game, but if you can limit his opportunities, right, that's what a good defense is going to look at. Limit his opportunities, limit Martinelli's opportunities. You know what Arsenal are looking to do. The difference is now, we can go a bit more central with Rice and Odegaard and Eddie. Eddie's been really good too. Very physical presence. He's not going to be. I thought he worked really, really hard in that game, and he's probably going to come.
Sorry to interrupt you. I was going to ask about Nketiah, because I feel like he's done enough to say that Jesus shouldn't just come back in. Obviously, Jesus is your leading striker, but
then Eddie can't do what Gabby did at the end, right? And this is the difference.
Imagine having a sub that does do that after Nketiah runs them tired.
No, for sure. There's definitely a thought to that, and maybe that's something you do when the striker's towards the end of his tenure, maybe or something. But
yeah, okay.
for the most part, I think you play your best forward. I think Eddie is perfect for certain games, and there are games when Jesus is ineffective. There is. I mean, he's just coming back from injury too. There was no need to rush him back. If Eddie added goals, like more goals that he created himself to his game, which is easy to say, but if it was that easy, then we would all four of us would do it, and we would all play professionally. So, like if Eddie could add that to his game, he'd be a great forward. Like he's got pace, strengths. He has those things. It's just, it's just the finishing. He's an opportunist goal scorer, not a creative goal scorer, I think.
I feel like Gabriel Jesus always tacks on like that extra goal. He never I can't remember him scoring like a game winning. He always gets that, fourth or fifth, goal.
I'll have to try and find it and put it in the Discord. There was a stat around that when he was at Man City.
Well, I mean,
point winning goals that he scored were very minimal at Man City. But that's because it might just be Man City, right? And they have so many good players.
His start at Arsenal before the knee injury was actually very good, and he was scoring goals. He went on a little bit of a drought, but I also think part of that is just the way he's going to play. Like it's
his movement as well.
A lot of dropping deep.
So much space for Saka. Yeah.
Well, the reason I thought of that is because they showed the stat in 57 games where he scored, they've never lost. Or either Arsenal or the Premier League team he's played for, they've never lost. Yeah. They showed that on the feed I was watching. Should we talk about VAR a little bit, or I mean?
Just one thing before VAR. To Milo, question to Milo. When does Raya come in? Because Ramsdale got a big hand to that shot from Rashford, and I think when you're a goalkeeper getting a hand like that, I argue should have saved it. If he gets a strong, it was hit really hard. It was a well hit shot. He got a really strong hand to it, and then I know it was disallowed, but Garnacho's goal, I also think the keeper could do better for that one as well.
Okay, so for both of those, the first one, I would put the blame on the defenders. I forget who it was. Okay. I think it was Saliba and somebody else. Not only did they, in my opinion, not close down Rashford enough, because you know what he's capable of, and you watch videos, you watch footage of games, you know what Rashford's capable of. He scored against us last year.
It was Ben White, and he's trained against him for England.
But it was Ben White and one other, it might have been Saliba, it might have been Gabriel, I'm not sure. But anyway, like both of those guys, I felt like they sat off him too long. At some point, as a centre back, you play centre back, even at amateur level. At some point, you have to go. You have to have the commitment to go for the ball, even if it means you give away a free kick, right? That might be a consequence. At the best hope is Rashford turns and looks for a pass instead of that shot, right? It's those split second things, and both of them to sit off is a mistake, in my opinion. And that enabled Rashford to get a shot away, which was partially hidden. His body movement was partially hidden by those two defenders in front of Ramsdale. So for me, getting a hand to it is probably the best he could have hoped for. I know what you're saying though, and then. For the one-on-one, like if you're a professional footballer and you're through one-on-one,
you should score.
You should be scoring. Doesn't matter who's in net. You should be scoring, right? And I think Garnacho took it very well. I mean, I said he would be my player to watch or whatever it was this season for United as well. When he went through, I mean, at first I thought he was on, but. Man, I don't know if you've watched that in slow. Gabriel is either very, very, very clever or very, very lucky. Because he's lucky. But he stops, leaning back like that. It's almost if you watch it like that, it looks like he's done it on purpose, which is
he's done it on purpose, but he's lucky with his head. It's because he still bows his head forward.
It's incredibly brave then. Either way it worked. But on that one, I don't blame Ramsdale for either. I still think for Ramsdale to be dropped, he has to make an error, and we've seen them from him. I think when we get an error, like a proper error, hopefully we won't get one, but when we get a proper standout error, that to me is when I think we'll see Raya get the nod the next game. That's how I see it unfolding. Obviously, I'm not Arteta. I have no idea. That's what I see.
I imagine he'll get a couple errors. Sorry, I think Ramsdale will get a couple errors. I don't think it'll be so clear. They wouldn't do that to him. They'll give him a couple.
I mean, he's already had one earlier in earlier games, maybe questionable, right? There's questions. Obviously, there's questions about him, or we wouldn't have got Raya, right?
Yeah, I also think there's that, but also training. Raya will he has a different skill set, so he'll learn off that as well. I think the Ten Hag always talks about a competition for places, right? There has to be competition. Speaking of competition, Sancho was left off the team sheet, which I wanted to ask you guys that.
I wanted to ask you guys about that before we ended this segment. So Sancho. Publicly coming out. Sancho publicly coming out saying what Ten Hag said wasn't true. Like, it doesn't look good for the Sancho United era, does it?
No. It's
375 grand a week.
It's really interesting because Ten Hag's comments was that he's not training at the level that Man United need him to train. And Sancho's rebuttal is, I'm training every day as well as I can with all these good players. Football seems to be the only one of a few professions, I guess, where your manager can be like, you're shit and you're not training very well, so I'm not going to play you. And if the player goes, yes, I am, I'm training my hardest, then the manager can just go, that's not good enough. At the end of the day, it's the manager's opinion, right? If he's not picking you because he thinks you're not training hard enough and you think you are, then if you're not impressing the manager, it's the manager's call.
Rumours he's been late to training as well, which he got fined for at Dortmund, I believe. I was reading about it earlier. Yeah.
Southgate apparently left him out of some squads or he didn't start him in certain games because of his training as well. That's apparently rumors.
And I think it makes it a bit harder with because he has had mental health issues, Jadon Sancho, and he admitted it and he's spoken about it, and Man United helped him and Erik Ten Hag helped him last year. You just hope it's not a sort of, well, they've helped me once, so they'll help me again, and they'll help me again, and they'll help me again, and they'll help me again. There becomes a point, and it's harsh to say it, but there becomes a point in football as a profession where yeah, if you're not good enough to play for a club like Man City, Man United, or you don't have the attitude as for an Arsenal or a Spurs or these top teams, that the club will give up on you. They'll just say, if you're not going to put the effort in training when we've tried to help, then see you later. But yeah, sorry, Cart, you're going to say something.
Well, I was going to just say that the players are used to soft, just kind of a soft approach, like you said, the club will coddle them and this that Ten Hag doesn't he means business. What is it? He dropped Rashford for disciplinary issues. He dropped Garnacho for the same issues. He dropped Ronaldo for the same issues for not
sold Ronaldo.
Sold Ronaldo ultimately, right? For not pressing and whatnot. He dropped Maguire, obviously. He dropped De Gea in fantastic fashion, and picked up Onana. Right? He's cutthroat. He dropped Wan-Bissaka for Dalot for a long time, and then when Dalot had a bad game, he dropped Dalot immediately and put Wan-Bissaka in for a long time. Now he's signing Hollywood and telling Martial that he's not good enough.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a potential loan with an option to buy, or just a straight out purchase from Saudi Arabia for Jadon Sancho. Their window's still open. They've got another 2 weeks. It's a big money move. Potentially that. If not, then I can't see him playing for us in the very near future. He may get a League Cup run or FA Cup game or something, but it's an interesting one.
I don't know how I feel about Ten Hag saying that, to be honest. I think he was a little tilted from the result. That's looking back on it, that's how it seems, but also maybe that's how frustrated he is with Sancho. To the point where he really doesn't figure into his plans as far as the attitude he wants to see on the pitch. He might have all the talent, as I'm on record saying I think Sancho does have all the talent, but he just doesn't have the attitude factor to make it to the top level. I don't. The more especially after this, it doesn't feel like he does, and it doesn't seem like this is gonna light a fire under him. It doesn't feel like that, but maybe it will, but it doesn't feel like that.
It came across from Ten Hag as very Mourinho-esque, and I mean that negatively, not positively, where he was throwing a person under the bus in an interview straight after a bad result.
That he didn't
it's always easier to throw. That he didn't even. And I was going to say, it's even easier to throw someone under the bus when they haven't played. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I agree with you, Carl. I don't think Ten Hag's a manager to back down now that he's said that publicly. So I can't see it ending well for Jadon Sancho.
Like the whole referee thing, he got this, that wrong. Fine, I'm cool with that actually. Like I'm okay with that from the manager. But this is taking it to the next step. You heard Ferguson do this stuff all the time. This call, that call, that call. Get the attention off the players. Mourinho does it as well. Get the attention onto him, type of thing. But now he went and put it all on Sancho as well, which is not exactly what we've seen in the past this soon after a heated loss. But yeah, Ten Hag I've never seen him that ticked off. He was pissed. You could tell he was pissed.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm psychoanalyzing again, but I felt like he was extremely pissed. And so, rightly so. Like he was, the victory was in his hands,
Yeah. I feel like, let's try and bring it back to the game a little bit. I just Hoff as a neutral in this sort of a neutral in this fixture. You hate United and you probably hate Arsenal a bit more. So what did you think of Højlund coming on? Obviously Milo said, it looks like he's going to be a handful for defenders, but I'm interested from a person looking at the game.
I think it looked like, and I guess obviously United believe that he has the potential to fulfill that price tag. I think he has buckets of potential. He looked threatening, like pacey. I love a pacey striker. The only problem I have with that is, and you can see it with Martial right now, once he starts getting, if he starts getting soft tissue injuries, his calling card is shot. So can he be a well-rounded, not just the pacey, I'll outrun you everywhere, and can he add more to his game, because he still has plenty of time to do so. So if and when he starts getting hamstring pull here, a calf strain there, things like that. Can he still be effective when returning from those? That would be my only concern. But if he doesn't have any injuries, I think the sky's the limit. I think he looks really good.
Cool.
Yeah, his now I'm on record, so I'll go ahead and repeat this. I think Gabriel is a slight weak link in Arsenal's team. I'll say the three: Ramsdale, Gabriel, Martinelli. That's it. I think the rest are okay. I think they're also very good. I'm just the weakest of the bunch, Milo. No, I'm not saying they're shit or anything, but if Højlund had Gabriel for 90 minutes, he would have destroyed him. I think the way Gabriel, just the way they matched up at that point, you could say maybe Gabriel's lacking fitness. Fine, maybe he is, but the way he bodied Gabriel and what he'll do to other Premier League defenders at this point,
that's especially
fine.
We'll just put Saliba on him.
Especially
Problem
with
solved.
defenders getting more technical, less defensive minded. This type of striker, like Ferguson, like Evan Ferguson, like a throwback to like Solomon Rondon, Awoniyi from Nottingham Forest, like these big guys that just give center backs just problems. They get on your body and they don't let you move, and they're afraid to let you by, so they give you the ball, let you have your back to goal with the ball. When Højlund gets settled, I think you'll see a lot more fluid attacks from United, because that hold up play is pretty big. Martial's like a deep lying forward, like almost like, I don't know, Benzema or something. Like he likes to drop back, pick up the ball, Kane-ish, and distribute or whatever. So we haven't had a striker that's like, playing off the last man, maybe since Cavani or something. I don't know. And also young. So I think it does add a lot of stuff. You're seeing Rashford, with a lot more freedom on the wing. I just think, with Martial dropping deep, the Arsenal center backs had it pretty easy for most of the game. And right when Højlund came in, you saw him mark up. And
I was complimentary of Højlund because, I can compliment rival teams' players without any issue whatsoever, unlike some other people on this panel. And Højlund may well
that's no fun. That's no fun.
Højlund may well have been a handful for Gabriel, but there's not a lot of reference point at this time, right? So when we play again, assuming Højlund stays fit, and then you see how he adapts to the Premier League, and you see the way United use him, he's coming off the bench for his first appearance at United.
Yeah.
He's keen to impress. Like I just don't think you could judge. I'm not going to judge Gabriel on a performance. I mean, fuck me, we won the game 3-1, 3 fucking points. Come on, you beauties, fucking up, yeah. Anything else?
Yeah, barely. You barely won 3 points again.
See, I didn't do that because I don't do that, but now I'm lowering myself to your standards.
What do you mean, my standards?
VAR. Let's go to VAR. Right.
Why?
Okay, let's move on.
Milo doesn't talk about that. It's below his standards to talk about VAR, right, Milo?
It's just shit. That's why.
Mate, we talk about VAR every week.
I know. We got to stop doing that. It's below your standards.
I never said that.
Did you see Ian Wright's tweet about VAR?
No. What did he say?
He said I think it was right after or during the Arsenal match. He said no time to talk about goals, quality of play, or key moments, because all we discuss in the studio is VAR decisions. Boring. Just incident after incident, taking the enjoyment out of the game.
Yeah.
So as far as like him doing to a more prominent extent as to what we do, I mean, he's tired of talking about VAR as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a nonsense. It's a nonsense.
We've all seen our teams. We've all been unhappy with VAR decisions, right? All of us at some point or another. And we will be again, maybe even in the next game. Like, I don't know. I wasn't. obviously, if your team is on the end of a VAR decision that you don't agree with, then, you know, you're going to be more upset than the person whose team was on the right end of it.
It's
you know,
I think I'm even past that with VAR. I think it's even the fact that, like, even when Declan Rice scored, it's the annoyance of not knowing if that's a goal or not for minutes. So for sometimes 5-6 minutes. Like,
I don't mind the delay as long as they get it right.
I hate the delay. I hate the delay. There's an Arsenal fan. Milo, Google, I think it was 5 Live. Google the Arsenal fan that phoned into 5 Live after Garnacho scored and it was disallowed. He was still like, I fucking hate VAR because it's just ruined. Like I've got the emotion of us losing that game, and then I get another wave of emotion of us still in the game, and it's like I can't deal with it. It's rubbish. But anyway, it's a great cooler. It's a really good cooler.
Yeah. I would argue that that's good for the game. You know, that extra.
No, it's good for TV ratings. It's not good for the game.
Well. Okay.
That's 2 different things. It's good for TV ratings. It's not good for the game.
What is?
Well, I don't know about that.
So, yeah.
I think
it's good for the game.
We've look, in all the decisions we've complained about, Cart and me and you and Half, like all of us have complained about, but there have been times where we've sat here and said VAR got that right. They got that right. They pulled that back. So that's what we want. We just want to see that more consistently. I don't think there was any outrageous VAR decision in this game, though. But you probably do. I'm assuming you do, and that's why it's a big deal.
My issue with VAR, which has always been with VAR, which is similar to the article that I linked in our Discord, is it was brought in to do something completely different to what it's actually doing.
Yeah.
It was what was it? Obvious and outstanding errors or something. I can't remember the phrase they used. And now it's not. It's every decision in the penalty area. It's everything in the penalty area. It's not every free kick or every throw in, but it is every little thing here or there. That's not what it was brought in for. So it should be a quick and obvious error. No, we can't spot anything that could be quick and obvious. Right, fine.
But then who decides what's clear and obvious?
That's the problem.
That opens up a
decision.
Exactly. That opens up. That opens up the personality of the referee and my mates in the VAR box. So I better not say anything. We can't have that, right? So I'd rather, believe it or not, I'd rather be in Cart's world where everything is you know, bang, bang, bang. Like, I'd rather be in that world than one where there's so many errors.
We won't talk about United. How about the Havertz foul or the no call? What did you guys think of that one?
Not a pen for me. The contact from me came after the attempt for the ball. So he attempted for the ball. The defender, like Havertz, and as their legs planted, Havertz's leg came up and just hit him. I don't think Havertz dived. I mean, he went down once he felt contact. So if you want to call that a dive, I suppose you could. But for me, it was not a penalty. There was some contact, but it was incidental. So I think it was the right call.
I agree. I think it was the right call. Agreed. I think Havertz initiated the contact.
He did what forwards do.
Phrasing it.
Yeah, Harry Kane made a living out of doing that for the last 10 years.
He's done it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that was a penalty. Right decision.
Well, that was an overturn. They said that was a clear and obvious error by the ref, on-field ref.
Yeah.
So it was
because the ref gave
it was solved really quickly. It was solved really quickly.
Yeah.
And he went, you need to go and look at the ref. You need to go and look at the monitor. And he looked at the monitor and went, yeah, all right, it's not a penalty. And he came out and did it.
Yeah.
Like said, it's not a penalty.
No, but the only reason he was called to the VAR was because it was considered a clear and obvious error. I hope you guys, understand that. That's the part I'm trying to get at is that the VAR still has to decide it's clear and obvious error, right? Yeah. So the sending the ref to the. I wonder how many times they've sent the ref to the VAR and he hasn't changed his call or has changed.
One in the whole of last year was one in the whole of last season. Michael Oliver did it once, was sent to a monitor and didn't change his decision. All the times last season, once.
And that's my point. And that's the point I'm trying to make, is that if you're going to have VAR, call it, it's basically the VAR should be the main ref at that point, right? It shouldn't be the on-field ref. The person who has the final say should just be the VAR at that point. Because if you're going to tell the ref to look at the monitor, it means he has made a clear and obvious mistake.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
yeah, it should do.
And the on-field ref is put in a position where it's like, oh, you're bringing me to the monitor, I must have made a mistake.
Yeah.
And you could skip a whole point. You could skip a whole thing by just saying the VAR just on the screen says penalty or no penalty. Just boom. Just let.
But
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you just call it strict, you can do things like this, and it'll move the game quicker. It'll be efficient. Stuff like that.
I think the reason for that though is that your on-field referee throughout the history of football has been the man in charge. Right?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is you are allowing the man in charge to see an error happened, whether it's his or his vision was blocked or he saw contact, so he whistled, right? He saw it. He had a good eye line to it. He saw contact. He gave the penalty. Like, I think, I don't know that it would be, I understand what you're saying, and it wouldn't be a bad thing for VAR to say, no, and they don't even have to communicate. It could just be a sound effect, whatever. Like, they don't have to be friends, is what I'm saying. They don't have to worry about upsetting a friend or any of that bollocks.
So this is,
but like what
one
I
of my
mean,
friends says that.
What I mean is, like, he just say to, like, you're still the man in charge, right? So come have a look at this, and then the man in charge lets the pitch and the fans know this is what's happening. He's still the man in charge of the game.
So what one of my friends says is that VAR should be completely independent from the Premier League Referees Association. It should be a completely independent set of people that don't interact with referees. They're still trained as referees. They're trained as VAR refs. Mm-hmm. And that is their job. It's not Premier League referees that then go and do VAR at Stockley Park. It is a whole new group. I'd be more on board with that.
Australian guy was the VAR ref, I think, for that game, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
Yeah. Jared Gillett.
Yeah. Jared Gillett, that's it, yeah. So
I don't know if it's because he's not English or he's just international. not because he's not English, but because he's international. I'm in favor for that. Whatever he does, almost like, because I want to see more international refs come into the game if they're good. I want to see that.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a little bit of that,
but I still think that there needs to be that separation because he is still a Premier League referee and he is still going to the Premier League referee meetings and outings and social events and stuff like that, and they are mates. Like, even if you don't get on with your work friends, you do still go to the work social, don't you? I do.
Yeah, I don't. Fuck them.
But yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one, and we can talk VAR to death, but I'm sick. I'm just sick and tired of it. And that article gets all my opinions across really well. So I'll put it at the bottom of if we make this into a little clip or something about VAR, I'll link the article at the bottom of it.
Yeah, we're gonna have a bonus segment here on VAR.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Arsenal. Well-deserved victory. Barely victory.
Yeah,
well deserved.
A good 3 points. So.
Jeez, that was a long one. How long was that one?
Well, it had to be because you upset me and I needed a breather. So we had to rescue the length of the clip, and I will edit it out.
Right.
So.
But what I would say from my point of view,
I apologize for taking you off like that. I did not mean to do that. Just so you know,
I've had a very, very long day. I'm tired. I'm ratty. I felt like I diplomatically dissected the game from an Arsenal standpoint without laying any bullshit on you about Man United.
No, and then Culture
you
did as well.
That.
No. And Culture did a very thorough analysis as well. Very thorough. I mean, what am I supposed to say after Culture does that?
Anyway, Culture, go on. What were you going to say, mate? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you.
I was just going to say, like, that, the Cart's comments aside and Milo having his little breather, that was, I think, one of the best conversations we've had on since when I've been on it. I think it flowed really well. I thought it was good. I just
went outside and screamed. That's all. Over there. Yeah. There's a door there. I just screamed.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the chat.
My doctor said it's better for me to let it out.
Let it out. I thought you'd set up your punching bag a little bit and just gone downstairs for a quick hit.
I do have the heavy bag downstairs. Cartwheel's face will be on it tomorrow. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking.
Okay, I will say this. Okay, look. When the team that beats you has a, you just gotta give it back a little bit. I wasn't going overboard, I don't think, but we lost. Like what do you want me to do? Like I'm not gonna just roll over here, man. I'm just gonna.
I don't think. Well, I mean, we've just talked about it for half an hour. I don't think that United were terrible, and I disagree with Cultured in that I do think the overall balance of play, we deserve 3 points. I believe that, but that's fine. That's from my side of the fence. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is. It is what it is.
Shout out to Mordecai in chat for having some very odd opinions. I don't know if anyone was reading it as it was going. I know you can hear me as well. So
I have chat turned
really odd.
off until this screen.
I really should turn chat off. Yeah.
We don't. Speaking of Mordecai,
we
don't have a segment for Liverpool tonight. Obviously, we tend to cover our teams because this is kind of how it started, and we do have 2 other segments to get through. Luckily, they're not too in depth. So I think we can crush them in half an hour.
I think we can talk a little bit about.
But I want to say I actually think Liverpool look quite impressive. I don't know about you guys.
No, they do. Yeah.
I think
I've been very complimentary.
Now they've sorted out their midfield, right? They've sorted out their midfield.
What's his name? Sober Squashly? Sober Squashly or something.
Dominic.
No. I heard it earlier. Soberslide.
Soberslide.
That's pretty good.
Soberslide.
That's it.
Just call him
Great
Dom.
goal.
Yeah, Dom.
I'm telling you, man. I'm not looking forward to playing them. I'm not. I think that's going to be a tricky game.
Yeah. Alrighty. What are we talking
for
about?
ADZ, shout out for Celtic. Good win against Rangers. There you go. I've said it on the show for him.
Champions
For
League.
posterity.
You can call it.
Yeah.
You're like on the pod show.
On the pod show.
It's a cross between a podcast and a show.
Yeah.
Liverpool winning the
I love
league.
that.
Spotify, if you're listening, we just came up with that.
Yeah.
Imagine what we could do with $10 million each.
Each. I like it.
yeah, mate. I mean, come on.
Guys,
Then we go to Saudi Arabia and be like,
Tabasco.
Spotify are offering us 10 million each.
What
Drink
is
Tabasco, guys.
Do they have? Do they have Spotify in Saudi Arabia, or is there like a Saudi version? If so, we'd love to hear from them.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from them. Yeah. Love to hear from them. And also, I'm always a big fan of Apple. If Apple
there you go.
us, like Apple Podcasts, Apple Live shows, Apple TV,
Taco Bell fire sauce.
Get your new Apple iPhone. I don't know what number they're on. We just product placement.
Yep.
All right, let's get to the Champions League draw.
Okay. I just didn't know which one we're doing first, so let me just find.
I'm completely forgotten about that.
I'm ready to go.
Well, we can go through these ones pretty quick.
Yeah, I've set these up to be relatively short segments, but we'll just have a little chat about something.
Okay, here we go.
All right, this week in football was the UEFA Champions League draw. Lots of great teams in the hat as ever, and Joe Cole read the names out. Sounded a little bit cringy at times, to be honest. Especially when he said Red Star Belgrade, because he didn't want to say, I'm not going to say it either. Or is it? It's like Kravna Zhedna or something?
Belgrade.
Yeah, something.
Let's go with that.
That one.
Let's go with that. Yeah, so there are some pretty tasty ties in the group stage. I'm just going to run through the groups one by one, and within each group, we'll just get your thoughts. Group A, obviously, probably not a happy time for United, but Bayern Munich, Man United, Copenhagen, and Galatasaray. Thoughts on that group, Cultured and/or Cartwheel?
We're getting through that group. That's easy. Beat Copenhagen, beat Galatasaray, finish second to Bayern Munich. Done. Bosh. That's my opinion.
I'd like to take some point. Oh, whoa, we're missing somebody on the screen. I hope we can get a point off.
You missing me?
Off of Bayern. Sorry, there we go.
What is happening? Don't worry about this, YouTube. You'll love this.
Spurs don't
I'll
make the
edit this
Champions
out.
League, and I don't get to talk about it. Fuck.
Like,
If we pause, I can edit this out and pause.
there you go.
Thank you.
I don't know what this thing is over here. Anyways, I hope we can get a point off of Bayern. I'd really like to see it. I don't know if it's possible, but I mean, I believe it's possible. I'd like to see it happen. But yeah, unfortunately, I think second place is probably what's going to happen here.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, Hoff, what do you think? Harry Kane goes up against a team that coveted him quite highly before his move to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I think he will. I mean,
Score a
he'll
hat
probably
trick at Old
score.
Trafford.
Maybe. I would put it back. I was trying to think of how many. So there's 6 group games. I wouldn't put it past him to have 8 goals in the group between all the games. I don't know where they're gonna, if he's gonna score 6 against Copenhagen. But I know Turkey away is always kind of a tough match for anyone. Just the atmosphere there is just something different.
It is, yeah.
But I still think it's going to be probably Bayern and United through rather easily.
Yeah, fair enough. Group B sees Arsenal, Sevilla, PSV, and Lens. I was quite happy with that draw. I think it could have been a lot worse. But they're good. They're teams that we've played often in the Champions League group phase, like back in the day when we were in it. So I'm pretty happy with that group. I think we will win that group.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
I think you win the group, and I think Sevilla drop down. I think PSV come second, and Sevilla go, let's go and win the Europa League again, because that's what they do. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind draw. It's a kind draw.
Yeah, that's the most Europa League group of the Champions League groups. And like I saw, I forget who it was. Someone tweeted out, how are the three teams in Arsenal's group? How are only one of them going to finish third to go into the Europa League? Because I mean that's what it is. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Sevilla purposely, not purposely, but they end up third and go on and because that's what they do. That's their tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Favorable draw for Arsenal, first time back in the tourney for a little while, as we know. Group C: Napoli, Real Madrid, Braga, and Union. I know Hoff is a Union fan. Tough group for Union, I think. You got to really, you're thinking Real Madrid and Napoli. What are you laughing at?
Are they French?
I don't know. This is how Hoff says it.
Union. Oh, how do you say Union?
Union.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I put Union. Yep.
Look, if I do my German accent, right, you'll all be really offended. So let's not go down that road.
Yeah.
Somebody just went to Union Berlin.
They got Bonucci.
Wait, we're covering transfers in the next segment.
Oh, sorry.
Good Lord.
This will be interesting though. Napoli or Madrid to finish top? What do you guys think?
Real Madrid.
I think Madrid.
I think Napoli will finish second in that group unless there's a surprise. They haven't started Serie A quite as well as they finished last year or played last year, but still got a couple of really good players in Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen. So yeah, I expect Napoli to go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Group D: Benfica, Inter, Salzburg, and Real Sociedad.
This one's interesting.
Interesting group there.
Yeah, this is very interesting. Benfica, Inter, and Sociedad, all, I don't know. They're all solid teams. Benfica's always looking, Benfica's like they're seen as the number one candidate to win Champions League from Portugal, right? They do
I'd
the
say
biggest business
horse.
type of stuff.
Like a dark horse.
Of Portuguese fans, like they lift them up as the number one, and they depend on them for like their coefficient and stuff like that.
I don't even think Kieran Tierney can bring Real Sociedad through this group.
See, I've got this feeling that Inter aren't getting out of this group.
Inter
and Sociedad.
Inter are playing.
Ooh.
They've started Serie A on fire, by the way.
Yeah.
I watched their game against Fiorentina this weekend, and Lautaro Martinez is up for it this season.
Yeah, okay.
So I don't know.
I think Sociedad and maybe where did I lost them? And maybe no. I think Sociedad was one of the fourth pot teams that groups didn't really want to face. Yeah, I could see them getting second, and I don't know if that's at Inter or Benfica's expense. I don't know. I don't know if Inter are going to focus hardcore on the league this year. After last year's less than ideal league campaign for them, but I think I can see Sociedad finishing second. Benfica and Sociedad through. Why not?
Yes!
Whoa!
Come on, Hoff. We're in it together. We're in
You
it
heard it
together,
here
Hoff.
first.
Come on. Come on.
I'd really like to
think
see
Inter will be
Benfica
tonight.
go through. I'd like to see Benfica go through because my boy Kochku's over there. I love that player. I love that guy. All right, sorry.
The next two groups I think are the toughest in the draw. So Group E is Feyenoord, Atletico, Lazio, and Celtic. That is a tough group for the Hoops. I think Lazio, decent team. Atletico, obviously decent team. Feyenoord, I haven't watched for a while. I don't know where they're at, but I feel like that's a tough draw for Celtic.
I'm going Atletico and Celtic for my boy Ads in chat. I'm going for let's go Ads. I love Atletico. I have no affiliation with Feyenoord.
I really like Celtic, by the way, and I don't know if Ads knows this. I have a Celtic shirt upstairs.
Ooh.
There you go.
I do indeed.
How have Lazio started this season? Losing Milinkovic-Savic, have Lazio been all right in Serie A?
Yeah,
I've got a feeling
they actually beat Napoli 2-1 yesterday.
Yeah.
Atletico and Celtic would be lovely to go through out of that group. Bin Lazio off, bin Feyenoord off.
I think Lazio are an unknown. They've got 3 points from 3 games, so they've won 1 in Serie A so far. Like last year, they were good too. They were good. It's just Napoli were excellent.
Yeah.
I think Lazio is an unknown, but Italian teams, they're tough to beat. They are. Let's face it.
Yeah.
I think Atletico are tough to beat. Everyone knows that with how Simeone sets them up. They're very, very strong defensively. Lazio, being Italian, tough to beat. Feyenoord don't know enough about them, so I'll just put them fourth because that's what I do as a Brit. If I don't know something, they're at the bottom. So I want Celtic to go through, so I'm going to try and wish it into existence and be Atletico and Celtic. It's happening.
I would love to see Celtic come through that group. I do think it's a tough group for them, but yeah.
Feyenoord could be the fact. The only thing about Feyenoord is they have the Mexican Santiago Jimenez, who I do like. I believe he's there. I'm pretty sure he's there. So yeah, happy about him. He's nice.
Okay,
I gotta support my CONCACAF boys.
So what we'll do? Let's make a commitment to do this now. Can we set up a group stage prediction only, and we'll put a link in chat on the next show?
I can set that up. Yeah.
And then if everyone wants, because there's a lot of predictions being thrown around in chat right now about who's going to win the group.
Yeah.
Just group positions, guys. Everyone can fill it out. We'll put a link in chat next week, and then we can do that.
And join the Discord
set
too.
it up,
I'll put it in there as well.
In the Discord, it'll be in the Discord,
guys. Exclamation point Discord.
Yeah, there you go. On to what I think is undoubtedly the toughest group in the draw: PSG, Dortmund, Milan, and Newcastle. I do feel a little bit sorry for Newcastle for this, because I feel like that's a really harsh welcome back to the Champions League for the team.
Yeah, it's an interesting. I mean, Paris, Dortmund, Milan is 3 pot 1 teams, isn't it? Really, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm going in this one. Paris and Newcastle.
Ooh.
I think I can't decide who's going to finish third. Probably Dortmund and Milan bottom, but I think Newcastle's home.
Wow.
I think Newcastle win all their home games in this.
Wow, that's a big call.
That's strong. That's a strong. Yeah,
that's a big call.
I'm going Paris, Milan, Dortmund, Newcastle. Newcastle, Dortmund. Dortmund last. I got Dortmund.
Okay,
that's my order.
I go Milan, Paris, Newcastle, Dortmund.
I'm loving the Americans at Milan.
Just a quick reflection. This is what the Champions League will feel like next year. Instead of it'll be, Paris could play Dortmund, Milan, Newcastle, and then 5 other teams. Right?
Yeah, so
it's weird.
Which is a nice.
Once we get, once we get through these groups, there's a question I have for you guys about that too.
Okay.
Along those lines. So we'll just finish the groups of Group G is the snooze fest of the draw. No, I'm just kidding. Man City fans. Man City, Leipzig, Red Star, and Young Boys.
So easy. Every
City will
fucking
absolutely
year.
waltz that. Didn't Haaland score 8 goals against Leipzig or something last year? I don't know, something ridiculous.
Yes.
But yeah, City will win that, and I don't know. That group is just. Any thoughts?
I think
on that
that is. I agree with Stefan in chat. I think Haaland might break. He could break the Champions League goal scoring record in that group alone for goals in a Champions League season. Yeah. Like that is ridiculously easy for Man City.
Jesus.
Like Man City top, and then who gives a shit about that group?
The final group: Barca, Porto, Shakhtar, and Antwerp. Now, I don't watch a lot of Shakhtar or Antwerp games, and I watch very little Porto. So for me, I think Barca win the group. I think everyone will probably agree with that. I don't know who will be second. I'm not sure about
Porto
second.
Yeah, probably Porto.
Feels like Porto.
I think if Shakhtar weren't in the midst of a war, I think it would be more of a battle. But they have this agreement with FIFA, right, that their players can leave, which is why Solomon got picked up by Spurs for free, because there is an agreement in a war-torn zone that players can leave for free. It's really annoying because I love Shakhtar and I love Antwerp, and I'd love those two to go through. Like from a football manager, champ manager, old school perspective of purely gaming love, I love Shakhtar and Antwerp. But
that's why Group G, I would love Red Star to go through, you know, like you remember the old Red Star Belgrade teams, man, just so good. I had a blast with them on my Legends League in PES. But yeah, that's the groups set up for you. I had a question for you guys, and I don't know how you feel. Obviously, I was watching the draw. I was at work, so I thought I'll put it on because it was streaming on YouTube or something, right? And you know, they have 3 buckets here because they can only go into these groups, so they have to have an adjudicator put the balls for the groups they can go in this bowl, and then Joe Cole's drawing out of this bowl and giving it like. Sorry, but why don't we just put them all in a fucking hat and just draw them? Who cares about seeding? I don't care about seeding. Man City would have a much tougher group, I would argue, if it wasn't done like this. Like, and I'm not just picking on Man City. I just think that it should be a random fucking draw.
If you've if you've qualified for the Champions League, then you're in it.
That'd be great.
And also, who cares if that means we get Arsenal versus City in the group stage? Who cares? Why shouldn't you be able to?
Well, I don't think that's what they're worried about.
Draw?
That's one of the reasons the draw. I know it's not what they're worried about, but that's one of the reasons they went down that road. They didn't. One of the first things to ever come out in the draw was they don't want 2 teams from the same country to play each other in the group stage.
Yeah,
but also they don't. I don't think they want a lob. You know, they don't want all the best teams not in the knockout stage. They want the best teams in the knockout stage.
Well, they want it fixed for the TV ratings, right?
But
I mean, even last year's knockout stage was pretty lopsided. A lot of the big teams were on one side of the table, or one side of the.
Football fans love an underdog run.
My thing is, as well, is like rather than putting them all in a big hat. You know how Cart on his streams had his spin wheel for like rewards and punishments? Just have a fucking massive spin wheel, press it, and as soon as that team is drawn, they're removed out of it, and you just do it like that and just make it fun.
I mean, that's the same as a hat, but yeah. No,
but it's modern, isn't it? It's modern on YouTube and stuff. Like streamers do it all the time with spin wheels. Yeah. Sorry.
What I just to go back to the draw real quick. What I find interesting is going to be the next year, right? I quickly mentioned it with Group F, right? So we're basically just imagine from Group F and Group H combined, right? If you combine those 2 groups, each team would play each other once, basically.
Yeah,
and that's going to be a lot of fun, I think. And you'll see more of the games that you're talking about, Milo, where you'll see Arsenal play, Madrid in the group phase. And I think everyone goes into a single table or 2 tables. I'm not sure.
It's a single table, a Swiss League table. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, so everyone into one table.
I like the idea of the games and the fixtures being slightly different from playing the same team twice and doing that. But I don't like the idea of the league table. The one league. It annoys me on Football Manager when it happens. When you get to that point, you're like, oh yeah, fucking hell, Champions League changed into this. I can
see people saying that it shouldn't be done like an open draw because you could end up with a Lens versus City final, for example. But if Lens have earned their way to a final, and we've seen cup upsets in the history of football, and they genuinely are talked about as one of the greatest moments of all time. So don't tell me that a cup upset or a potential cup upset wouldn't be exciting, because it's bullshit. And they'll still get all the ratings when the better teams play each other in the group stage. In fact, their group stage viewing numbers will rocket, because they're probably not as high now as the final. Like, it's all... all I'm saying is that that's some bullshit that I'm reading right there.
All I'm saying is that's bullshit.
There we go. That was your Champions League draw.
Nice. It's exciting though. That group, like, you can't help but get excited about Group F. You know, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's going to be great.
Stefan, I'm not watching a City versus a lot of teams final, because what's the point? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's
the Swiss League model thing they've gone for is basically just the Super League, right?
Basically, and look, that was their answer, remember? Because that came out shortly after the Super League debacle. That was UEFA's rebuttal to say, oh, we can do something with this to make it more like that, and then people will be happier. But I'm not opposed to it, Car. I know normally I don't like change that much, but I'm willing to give it a shot. But if it's shit, someone has to be man enough to stand up and say, this was shit. Let's not do this again.
No, the games will still. No, what the thing is the games will still be seeded. The opponents will still be seeded, so it's not going to be so clear. But you know, it won't be like.
I think
there could be multiple teams winning all their games, and it'll be come down to goal difference type of thing. You know, instead of just like one team running away with it.
You get one guaranteed game of pot 1 v pot 1. So every pot 1 team has to play another pot 1 team in the new Champions League. Yeah. But that's the only guaranteed pot 1 v pot 1. Then everything else is 1 v pot 2, pot 2s, and 2 pot 3s, and then a random, I think. A risky draw. But yeah.
Alrighty. Should we go into quick transfer?
Last topic? Yeah. All right. Also, this week we had transfer deadline day, the most exciting day on the football calendar. Yawn.
If you work for Sky Sports.
Yeah, if you work for Sky Sports. So there was a period of time in European football where, I don't know, I feel like moves may have been done. Like now, it's teams are trying to secure their big signings early, right? So a lot of it is already done. I feel like the days of superstar signings on deadline day might be numbered. And we see this in other sports too. I don't know if any of you watch like NHL trade deadline, for example. Sometimes it's really not very good, and they are trying to make it be the most exciting thing on television. And it is what it is. So I've got a number of deals. We can discuss as much as you want or as little as you want. But I noted down some of the sort of more prominent ones and ones that I thought were kind of interesting. We won't have every transfer that happened. Obviously, we don't have all night, and we aren't Sky Sports, so we don't need to. Ryan Gravenberch, obviously Munich to Liverpool. There may be a couple that went through a day or two before. I think that's another great signing by Liverpool.
Yeah, really good, really annoying.
Yeah.
So it's another one that we were linked with that we could have got done early on in the window.
I blame Cartwheel, and here's why. Okay. Last year, Cartwheel mocked Liverpool's midfield so much they went out and said, "Well, we're going to buy them all then, apart from Bellingham."
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I'm not even. This is like third-hand trolling right now. We're time traveling, and then I'm not even saying anything. It's like, when did I say this? I never said this.
Right. I have a question for Liverpool fans that are in the chat, though, and for you guys as well to answer it. With the amount of money that Liverpool have spent on central midfielders, would they not have been better just signing Jude Bellingham for 90 million?
Oh, I don't think Jude.
I mean, Jude's great, right? But they've strengthened 3 positions instead of 1. I think. Yeah, but I think they've done.
The reason they didn't put a concrete offer in for Jude is because they didn't have the money, and it turns out, well, they did. I guess it's funded by Henderson moving to Saudi Arabia and all of that, but yeah, at the time they didn't have the money. But yeah, I don't
know if you can turn down Madrid if you're Jude. You know,
No,
I don't know.
I agree.
That's a big
I
move.
agree. But a good signing for Liverpool. I think a very
Great
good
signing. And the thing is that Bayern, they're playing with a pretty double pivot. And at Liverpool, they're playing with single pivot. And, you know, Gravenberch can play more of an 8 as well as 6 rather than a straight, more defensive 8, you know, whatever you want to call it. So I think it'll be interesting to see where he fits in. I imagine he will probably play more at the 6. Maybe like a second coming of Wijnaldum or something, you know, like
yeah, that's what I was about to say. I think he's the Wijnaldum-like player.
Yeah. Next up, I got Kolo Muani, linked with Man United before the Højlund deal, obviously. Eintracht Frankfurt to PSG for 77 million. Obviously, he's an exciting young player, goes to a team in Paris. I mean, it's probably a dream for him, right, as a young French kid. And they're in need of somebody that can replace Mbappe, who probably will be gone next. Who knows when? I mean, he should have been gone already. But anyway, yeah, Kolo Muani to PSG. Any thoughts on that, Hoff? What do you think?
I like that. It seems, just in general, it seems like PSG are doing having more of a team building window instead of grab the shiniest objects from every league window. It helps that Neymar and Messi are gone as well. So they're, but yeah, I think that's a good signing for them. I know Frankfurt will be missing him for sure. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot for PSG.
I like it a lot as well. And yeah, sorry, PSG are gonna play. They have so many, like just like Hoff was saying, Luis Enrique has a team, right? He has a team, you know, with roles now, you know, and that's the biggest difference. Last year I watched PSG play, you know, to use eFootball terms, 3 counter targets: Neymar, Mbappe, Messi walking around at the top of the pitch. Everyone's doing defending, heave it up to them, and then they create chances, and it worked. But now you're going to see a much more cohesive unit, I think. Cultured, I don't know.
I think it's a good signing. Obviously a good signing. I always have, and it's a bit, I'm sure we'll touch on Amrabat later, but it's a bit, well, I'm a bit nervous of the Amrabat deal is I don't like players going on strike and say I'm not training unless I move, which is what Kouani did to move there. He said to Frankfurt, that's it, I'm not training for 2 weeks unless you sell me to PSG. But it's a good signing. I agree with everything you've said. PSG have changed their tact of what they're doing for team building, and they've gone under the radar by signing a lot of younger players, so they're trying to set themselves up for the future as well. I think not as many as Chelsea, but they've signed a lot of young players. So
next up on my list I got Ansu Fati. I think this was in the hours before deadline day actually, but Ansu Fati, Barcelona to Brighton on loan. Not a move I saw coming. Pretty crazy. I mean, obviously the emergence of this kid that Cartwheel was telling us about last week, I forget his name, Yamal something.
Lamine Yamal.
Lamine. Yeah, you mean Lamar. Like, obviously that's probably got something to do with it, but yeah, man, what a unique, I just never saw that coming, and I understand, and maybe Barca fans can tell us, I understand he's not been quite the same since an injury. What do you guys make of that one?
I think.
Go.
Okay, go ahead, Coach.
He sustained an injury which apparently lost his explosiveness. I think it was how it was described out of Barcelona. He lost that explosiveness and the ability to earn as quick as he did, like on a dime, I think is what the phrase would be in America. But it's still a very good signing, and if you think he's rotated into the team and integrated as a substitute for either Matoma or Solly March, it gives Brighton great, really good options on those places now. Could potentially line up behind the striker, rotating with João Pedro. Could potentially play up front as a false 9 or drifting wide striker. My opinion is I think he's going to be rotated more with Solly March. I think that's why that March is more of a ball player, more of a wide playmaker. I think Solly March. I don't think he's necessarily a speed bursty, take your man on and beat players for Brighton. And I think Ansu Fati brings them a different option on the right. So yeah, I'm intrigued. Cart, go on.
I agree with all of that. And on the topic of Brighton, it'd be interesting to see how they develop. Right, the De Zerbi's probably, out of the best manager, I'd say. not at a top team, traditionally top team. And it'll be interesting to see how Brighton do this summer or this year, and how if De Zerbi's able to get something out of Ansu Fati, if that'll just add to his kind of CV almost, because I don't know, I might prefer De Zerbi at Barca over Xavi. Who knows? I mean, he plays a very attractive brand of football, and this could be, a lot of Barca eyes will be on Brighton games now. That's I mean, I agree with everything Culture said, but there's just something else to throw in on there.
Just before, sorry, just while we're talking about De Zerbi, one of my more outlandish predictions for the year is that Eddie Howe gets sacked and Newcastle just throw money at Brighton for De Zerbi. Just pay him out of his contract and Newcastle take De Zerbi. That's what I think might happen. I said it's outlandish.
It's tricky. I could see Howe getting fired.
You can see it happening.
I don't know about.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Next up, I got Leonardo Bonucci, Juventus to Union. I'll just say it like Union. Union Berlin. I can say it really English now. Union Berlin. Boff, give us the lowdown on that move.
Oh, I love it. Just some European experience. I think it was, if they weren't in the Champions League, he's not even interested in going there, I'm sure. But Union have made some great moves overall. They got Brendan Aronson on loan. Or Union, sorry. But they brought in Robin Gosens as well, which is another transfer with the Champions League in mind, and Kevin Volland. So 2 German internationals coming back to play in the Champions League with Union. But Bonucci, he's fallen off. I honestly don't know how much he's going to play, but what his experience that he brings, it kind of reminds me of what I said about Perisic last season for Spurs, which ended up not being true at all. But I feel this is more true, that he's a locker room signing. I don't even know. I know he's in the northern part, in Turin in Italy. I don't know what his German speaking skills are like. Yeah, so I don't know that dynamic of the locker room, but I feel like his experience will be big for them in hopes of getting out of the group in the Champions League.
What was the fee?
Yeah.
What was the cost?
He was a free, I believe.
A free?
Yeah, I think it was a freebie, yeah.
Wow.
Just with time constraints, I'm going to keep it moving. Lenglet, Barcelona to Villa on loan. I know Barca fans, or some Barca fans, were desperate for him to go, so be happy with that. Any thoughts on that one?
It's a weird one. I don't know. Was there an injury at? I know Diego Carlos got injured this weekend.
Oh, Tyrone Mings is out for the whole season.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, first game of the season. Yeah.
Yeah. So they I think they were looking for some cover there, and this is after Pau Torres as well. So yeah, I don't know a whole lot. I'm not a huge Lenglet fan personally, but maybe with the ball playing style of Unai Emery, he'll fit in nicely.
And then a double. Sorry.
I was going to say, if you need him to just sit back, make passes, he can do that very well. If you need him to chase down guys that have gotten past him, sorry, that's not it. But he's a very good ball player as a center back, but defensively, no, thank you.
Yeah. Barcelona, speaking of them double capture, João Felix on loan. I don't know if you saw this. Like the day before, he was like, "I love Barca. I've always loved Barca," and then he signs for them the next day. I thought that was weird. I don't know.
Yeah. He was reduced to tears as well in his
at his unveiling.
Yeah. And then they also picked up Cancelo from Man City, obviously. I think that
played a little
finalized
bit last weekend. I think just a little bit.
Oh, he did. Okay, so I'm behind on. Well, I'm not behind that one. It was on my list. So
no, it was a last minute signing. It was. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Cancelo's a good signing. It's just attitude, right? That's what Pep said.
Potentially, yeah.
It was just attitude.
Yeah. Controversial one. Mason Greenwood goes to Getafe on loan. I don't know what you guys make of that. We obviously did a full segment on Mason Greenwood and what's next for him, which you can see on YouTube if you want to have a look. But yeah, that's what's next for him. Getafe.
They're the shithouses of La Liga, and this is a very shithousey move. So it kind of makes sense. I didn't see this type of move for him, but I didn't see any move for him.
I didn't see a La Liga move, definitely not.
Yeah.
Just to nick a quote that I saw off Twitter, he's obviously heard "Get Tough for Me, Greenwood" a lot. So, didn't cut that. Loan move, annoying. But I just want him out of my club. I want him out of the club. Getafe have put their foot in it as well already by saying that he was innocent and proven innocent, which he wasn't. So. Yeah,
you got to say certain things if you sign up.
Yeah.
Next up was the Amrabat move from Fiorentina to Man United on loan. You kind of touched upon it earlier, but you guys happy with that signing? Going to add some depth, or is he going to be a starter?
Similar to Gravenberg, he can play the 6 or the 8. He's a top percentile progressive passer. He's got a couple flaws in his game. He can get out of position sometimes. I watched the Pythagoras video. I don't know if you guys know Pythagoras on YouTube. Really nice videos. He's very good, passer of the ball, progressive passer, and that's what United really need. And obviously he's younger and more mobile. He'll give Casemiro some rest. He'll give Eriksen some rest. It's nice. Famously chased down Mbappe in the World Cup. He's
gotcha.
I think to answer your question, Milo, I think in a game like Arsenal, something like that, he starts alongside Casemiro. In a game where we're expected to dominate possession, he comes off the bench. Eriksen starts. So
gotcha. Speaking of Arsenal, couple of moves involving them. No incomings. Obviously, got our business done early. I would like to have seen one or two more, maybe, but it is what it is. Rob Holding to Crystal Palace. Decent move for him. Stays in the Premier League. Hope he gets some minutes there. I got nothing against Holding. He just hasn't been it.
That's a bargain for Palace, by the way. An absolute 1 million plus 3 million on add-ons. That's an absolute bargain for Rob Holding.
It is. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, we all know his limitations, I think, at this point. It's just, I'm sad a little bit because when we got him, we signed him and Chambers very quickly together. And I was like, the future of the English defence centre-backs are going to be in our team. I was so pumped. Like the two most highly touted, at the time, they were the two most highly touted English centre-backs. And like, we got them both. And I was like, it's going to be the new Adams and Keown without the alcohol. But anyway. And also, Sambi Lokonga, Arsenal to Luton on loan, which I like that because Sambi has a shit ton of potential. I'm not opposed to him coming back and doing something for us because he has potential. I hope that he plays well at Luton. I hope that he can realize some of that potential. Any thoughts on the Arsenal deals there? No? Maybe?
I think Lokonga, I just don't see him. I agree. I think he has a lot of potential. I don't see him fulfilling that potential in the Premier League. Yeah, I think you sell him for a bit of profit to Spain or Italy or something like that.
Yeah, that's fair. I had a couple more written down. Oh, Nuno Tavares as well, Arsenal to Forest on loan. He is thought quite highly of, but again, he had a terrible first half of season with us. I don't know if you remember, he made some horrendous errors, but he's very, very highly thought of in football by a lot of managers. So, yeah, one to keep an eye on. Bayindir, Fenerbahce to Man United. As a backup goalkeeper, I understand.
First Turkish player.
Yeah, 4.3 mil backup keeper, obviously.
That's a good price for him. He's a good goalkeeper. I don't know what the plans are for playing wise, but I think he's good. I don't think he'll replace Onana anytime soon, but if he gets cup games or something, I don't think you'll be disappointed with him.
One quick thing.
Go on. Sorry,
Nuno Tavares out, Tierney out. Arsenal don't have any out and out fullbacks now, right? That's it. No more at the club. Is Cedric there? No,
probably.
Oh, okay.
He's probably there.
I'm just saying it's just interesting that they've gone all out, no more fullbacks at Arsenal, which is interesting.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's right. But with the versatility of, they've gone for versatile players instead. Yeah. Tomiyasu, White, Zinchenko, for sure. And Timber, obviously. but we know he's missing. I had two more to talk about. Callum Hudson-Odoi, Chelsea to Nottingham Forest for $5 million. So Forest continue to try to find players that can help them in the Premier League. And then Cole Palmer, Man City to Chelsea for $40 million. Like, did we know anything about Cole Palmer before he scored that goal against Arsenal in the Charity Shield?
No. I
feel like that was a £40 million goal.
I like him. I think there's a player obviously in there. I don't know, 40 million for a youngster, like I think it's a little high. Obviously it's Chelsea, so we're kind of laughing at a little bit more, but I think that's just what happens when your team wins a treble. You know, all your players just get a little boost in value. Like Trafford, the goalkeeper, they sold him for what, 15, 17 or something. And Cole Palmer is another one who did play he played a couple games last season. Yeah. He wasn't just solely on the bench. Like, I wonder how much they could get for Rico Lewis at this point. You know, they could probably get easy 50 million for him or something, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Cole Palmer's going to be one of those ones where you look back at it and it's an absolute steal at 40 million. Or he just goes to nothing. I don't think I don't think there's a middle point. I think it's either a complete flop of a transfer, or he's going to be arguably similar to Foden, right? Given a bit of time and then just burst on the scene and will be brilliant. But it's tough to say. He's been very good for under-21s, the English under-21s, Cole Palmer. Very, very good for them. So Chelsea may have got a good transfer. I don't want to say bargain because no one knows. So.
Chelsea apparently have a rule they don't sign anyone over 24 as well. I don't know if you guys heard. And that's why they didn't sign
Bowley's
James
rule.
Madison. Yeah, that's why they didn't sign James Madison, by the way. Yeah, interesting.
That is interesting. All right, and that's it. That's all I've got. And there's a ton more other deals, but those were the ones that kind of stood out, something we could talk about. So, yeah, that was deadline day.
Woo!
All right, we're learning. Let's do the player of the week. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're almost out of time.
I know. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All righty. Okay, hold on. So let's just go like me to Milo, Hoff, cultured me. You know, just on the screen on the stream.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm gonna who?
Hoff.
Okay.
On stream. I'll go to you though.
And I'm last.
Yeah, but you go to me.
I'll go to you. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Milo. Oh. We got to get I'm gonna get a timer. Actually, whatever. Here we go.
Take two.
There we go. All right, players of the week for Matchday 4. Milo, who's your player of the week?
I am going with Declan Rice for Arsenal performance that we paid for, rounded off with the winning goal of the game. Over to you, Hoff.
My player of the week this week, Heung-min Son against Burnley. Hatrick, loves playing against Burnley. Got the Puskás goal against them years ago and did it again. Who's your player of the week, Cultured?
I'm not going to go for a player that plays for my team. I'm going for Evan Ferguson, a very highly rated striker from Brighton, burst on the scene probably towards the back end of last season. A hat-trick in game week 4. Really good finishes. His value's gone up a hell of a lot after that. Cart, what about you?
I've also gone with someone not on my team because you took my player, Evan Ferguson. Jude Bellingham, player of the month for La Liga. 5 goals in 4 games. Game winner last weekend. A couple game winners previous weekends. Fantastic start. Just loving it. New Stadio Bernabeu. Bellingham's rocking. He's rocking, guys, according to me.
Nice.
Rocking.
Did you see the video?
I threw a couple of facial expressions in there for you.
And
Just saying.
and forgot to send it again with me going.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why that's happened every time, no matter what the format's been. I forget to pass it on. It just went quiet, and I'm like,
we can edit it though. It's pretty good.
There's been a lot of editing this episode. A lot.
They closed the roof on the Bernabeu, and apparently it was like one of the loudest noises ever heard to man, or something. I don't know how loud
Yeah,
it was. But
the video's really impressive. The tour, like the video they do of the tour since it got finished, and then the video of the atmosphere inside is really impressive. So
it looks really 125,000 in there.
Wow.
I don't think they had it full for this one. Alrighty, guys, that was a packed show. We're a little over time. Thanks, chat, for hanging around. We'll get these clips up. Make sure to like, comment on. We're getting some good comments on the YouTube, so thank you guys for commenting. Some interesting back and forth. Interesting one. Is Yamal Lamine the most creative player since Messi, or is it Pedri and Dembele? That was one of the comments I saw. On,
Pedri was a comment. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know what Barca fans think. Anyways, Milo, take us away.
I hope I haven't said this one before, but how do you make a tissue dance? Put a little boogie in it.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was.
Do you know?
Like that one.
You know, during the Arsenal Man United segment, when I was in my notes when I was talking about my sort of viewpoints, I actually put question, and I put, why did Ten Hag bring on Maguire and Evans? And then in brackets I put, it sounds like the opening of a joke. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the punchline would be, but I was like, why did Ten Hag bring on Maguire and Evans? Yeah, it sounds like a joke opening. You guys can do the punchline.
It's just that picture from like 2018 when Maguire and Evans are centre backs for Leicester. Now doing the rounds, it's like, fuck it now. I
feel like the whole football world was like, Evans, when his name popped up. Yeah,
a lot of people were. Some people were, or I think it was not some people. It was who's the outrageous United fan?
Goldbridge.
Goldbridge. Yeah.
I mean, look. Some of the things he says is crazy, but like one of the things he said was, you know, instead of Onana, could we have used that money for something else? You know, like a center back or but something we didn't talk about, but we did talk about in the past is we have outrageous wages, and I think we just have to wait out these contracts till we can make some actual change. It kind of sucks. That's why I'm like I'm a little, you know, it is what it is. People want their money, you know. We can't get these guys out of their contracts.
Yeah.
Nicolas Pepe. Arsenal bought his contract out, right? Didn't they?
That was the plan. I think he might still be on the books, though.
Oh, is he?
Let me check. I'll have a look
there
right
was
now.
some talk about him.
I meant to look that up.
Can't wait for Gavi to silence them. Gavi had like a staple in his ear. Did you see that picture?
Yeah.
Looked like he had like a hole in his ear or something. He's become, that's his like whole personality, is just like this fighter. It's not even
I don't I'm pretty sure he's still on the books. And I mean, for me, like, couldn't you find a way to enable him to press Saka a little bit? I don't know. He's definitely not. Arteta's not a fan, right? I mean, I think that much is clear.
Has he been called out?
Yeah, I don't think.
Like by anybody?
I think there was something about how, like, he complained a lot that he wasn't playing, and you know, rather than getting on with it and winning your place back in the team, some players like Lokonga. That's why Lokonga's not in Arteta's good books, because he just complains that he's not playing.
Okay.
So you want players that are like, I'm gonna fucking win my place by playing better than him. You know, that's the dream.
Yeah. eFootball comes out on Thursday, looks like.
Is it just a roster update?
No,
Wow.
I don't 24
know.
comes out.
2024.
24.
I'll give it a try, but I think there's going to be a fair bit of EAFC on my channel this season.
There we go.
I think I'm going to commit to it. Play some career mode, and it's crossplay now, so.
Yep.
I'm curious to hear how the game plays. I don't know.
Pro clubs crossplay should mean more players, stuff like that. Like I don't know. I feel like that could be fun, and
I'm gonna watch your streams to see how it looks, and then see if I commit to pro clubs, because I just hate FIFA. So slidey and not football. It annoys me that it's not played like real football.
Like you said, that you can do. I will set up a career mode with sliders, regardless. That will be fun.
And that's what I'll be judging it on. Yeah, your sliders.
And because it's crossplay, I actually got it on PC, because later in the season, I can do mods on that as well.
Yeah,
you can go edit.
So somebody released the 03-04 season mod for FIFA 23, and I was
okay.
I was looking at it, looked really good. Like, yeah, it did look good.
Anthony looks like he's on the Greenwood conveyor belt, by the way.
And on that note, I'm gonna have to go.
I saw something about that, but I'm like, we're not even going there.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Good show.
Yeah. Cheers.
I'll get the thumbnails done as soon as I can.
I will work on editing. I'll start tonight and finish tomorrow, probably.
Yeah, maybe I could start tonight. Yeah, I do have to get up early though, but hopefully I'll try to start tonight.
You're going to work on the short, yeah?
Yeah.
Just, I guess, cut out that pause where I don't pass it on.
Yeah, no, I wonder. The first thing is make sure it's under a minute, right? So that's the first edit.
You could just add a cricket sound
back
effect.
And forth.
You could add a cricket sound effect right there where I like to sit there.
Pause. Or have a bit of tumbleweed go across the screen.
Yeah. So many things you can do.
Right. Cheers, guys. See you later.
See you, man.
See ya.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Alrighty, chat. Can't wait for the new Pez. It'll be the same game with the reskin, same shit gameplay. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully there's something new about it. Yeah, we didn't talk much Man City. We didn't talk any Premier League, really. Much other than game. I feel like you guys can get your talking points from other sources as well. It's fun to talk about certain things. I'll be getting the Ultimate Edition so I can play it on 22nd. No respect for Liverpool today. We talked a little Gravenberch. Ramos back to Sevilla as well. Yeah, there's just so much. Yep. Man, you have Brighton next. Yeah. Onana did get called up. He did. Hopefully extreme. I'm not gonna stream. Maybe before the Friday phone in, I'll stream a little bit. Just check it out real quick if I have time. I don't have. I'll be busy. Yeah, Edon, that's what I was thinking. I wonder how that first interaction is gonna go. See, what did I say about Wednesday's show for UCL and other stuff, things that was missed? It's just a tough time commitment. Maybe if it was just like an hour, maybe max, but it always feel like it needs to be longer. Streaming for a short period of time doesn't feel fun. Once I get going, I can go. He's gonna train with the U21s. I'm curious to see what happens. At the end of the day, you can't really disagree. Hold on, let me see Jadon Sancho's contract. 350,000 pounds a week until 2026. He has 3 more years remaining, which is just insanity. That's a lot of money. We owe him 54 million pounds, which is just insanity. Sancho to City would work great. Sancho, Haaland. United have handled Greenwood's situation so bad, like you say, he's done for good. I don't know if I don't know what you. I don't know about the Greenwood situation, but definitely Look, these are all inherited problems. Other than Anthony, if Anthony did what he did, that's a strike on Ten Hag. I agree. But all these other guys, Maguire, Sancho, these are all inherited problems. Inherited. Anyhow, guys, what's the No, top four, dude. Champions League. That's all. That's it. Top four. And you got to remember, we were what, 8th at this position last season. A loss to Arsenal, a loss to Tottenham isn't the end of the world. It's almost expected from us away from home, right? We haven't won away from home against what, top 10 or something. So we could still finish 3rd. No, but the whole league's better. So, like I was saying last year, the whole league's better. Was it the first 3? I know we lost our first 2 last season. Maybe it was first 3. He said he's got a better plan for GOAT status, so why doesn't he show it? I think he's doing it right now, Extreme. You're seeing it, man. Iran, I'm almost at the point of finding Jesus. Do you guys believe in a higher power? I actually do believe in a higher power. I don't give it enough mindfulness. You're atheist? Atheist or agnostic? Anti-theist, gotcha. So you're against religion, but you do believe in God? I can't. Logic doesn't allow me to not believe in God. Don't believe in God and hate religion. I can understand hating religion, fine, but I can't. I don't know. I logically cannot. I can't deduce that God doesn't exist. It doesn't make sense to me. You're theist? I believe in God, I don't believe in religion. I mean, I don't know if religion, it's like, alcohol, you could argue is good, but also bad. Same with religion, it's a bit of a drug. But I don't know actually what that means. I think God is, I can't scientifically prove that God does not exist. Therefore, there's a chance he does exist. And by God, I mean a creator. Just creator. I don't mean like a dude that looks like us in the clouds type of thing. People go extreme with religion, yeah. Chances of being born in this time on this planet, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Switch allegiances, become a City fan? No, dude, look. I don't have... When I had a lot of time, You guys know how much I love football. If I have time to love football, I will. But there are so many things in life to love, guys. First off, self-love. Okay, guys? You guys need to love yourselves. Okay? And then make time for hobbies like football. But then some people say football is life, which is fine. That's fine. It was my life for a long time. It's still a big part of my life. Since Messi won the World Cup, I'm emotionally detached to this sport now. You won the game. I'm religious in the sense that, hey, what's up, Laura? I had to seek for God and religion, but I'm at the point where I don't believe in God, just believe in doing actions. Well, see, I have a very selfish view of God. I believe we are all gods, and we all have a higher self, right? You have to believe you can be better, I think. That's the key. And that is being closer to God. Being your best self is being closer to God, in my opinion. So that is what I strive to do. I think that's God in my mind. And I know it's a little selfish, but maybe it's a little self-centered, but I think we all have the best version of us in our brains. We won the UCL. I don't care as much about it anymore. So you're close to beliefs of Buddhism. Oh, really? I don't know. You saw what Van Gaal said about the World Cup today? I didn't see. You want to win the league every year? Yeah, I mean, look, you guys, Liverpool are in a position to challenge for the league. I agree. Completely. Buddhism is about self-improving. Okay. Yeah, Buddhism's more of a philosophy, right? What I understand, it's more philosophy than religion. So they probably do have a lot of He said it was rigged for Messi to win. Van Gaal said that? Oh, wow. I gotta read that. There have been Buddhist civil wars. Oh, wow. I don't know. Anyhow, I gotta eat healthier. I ate Taco Bell today because I was in a rush to get home for the show. I need to cook some better food. Ooh, some steaks. Nice. Steaks are always nice. The thing with steaks is I could probably like an 8-ounce ribeye, if I buy, I should probably eat it over a span of 2 days. Eating one 8-ounce ribeye is like probably too much for one sitting for me. Probably. Embrace your Indian. Oh no, my family is quite. I grew up a Hindu, 100% Hindu. I mean, I can kill an 8-ounce as well, but that my every time I do it, I'm always like, I shouldn't have had all of that. I could have had like half of that. I grew up vegetarian, yeah. But it's not necessarily healthy. A lot of bread, a lot of cheese, ice cream is vegetarian. It's natural to remain loyal to your roots. Yeah, I could eat more veg. I was actually thinking about that today, Adon. Because I'll have like beef jerky to snack on because it's like very calorie packed and it's healthy, it's like protein. But like fruits, nuts. I love eating peanuts and peanuts, Greg. And bananas, apples, oranges. It's all good stuff. Mexican vegetarian food is terrible. I mean, I like it, you know, like sopas and tostadas and obviously burritos, chili rellenos, yeah, flautas. And also, you know, that's why I have an affinity for Taco Bell, because that's like one of the few that a couple of like probably like 5-10 years ago, my dad showed me an article about how Taco Bell was, when he came to this country from India, Taco Bell was like fine dining, you know, for him, because it was vegetarian, it was cheap, right? Because, you know, they didn't come here with much, and it was vegetarian, cheap, vegetarian, and you know, it's a place to go out. It was like fine, not fine dining, but like it was a nice place to go with his wife, my mom. I'm not gonna lie, peanuts, lightly salted peanuts. I'm enunciating right now. Very tasty, like very tasty. And it's sad that some people are allergic to peanuts. And cashew nuts better? Nah. Cashew nuts are too creamy. And they're too soft. Your parents loved Taco Bell and they were born in Mexico? Oh, yeah, well, I'm sure. I mean, I loved it too, because it was vegetarian growing up. It was like always a treat to go there. 7-layer burrito. I have some dark roasted creamy nuts here. Jesus. All right, end the stream, guys. We'll end the stream. That's fair enough. I need to go. Thank you for that. All right, guys. We'll see you probably Friday and in Discord and stuff. Good night.